It's good.
Conserverie, genre la miroir du soir.
Oh my god.
Are you speaking? Is that gibberish or you actually French?
That's gibberish, but I'm able to make it sound like it's real
in his head. He just goes around Paris going.
But no, you have to sit there in the rue. Alors, ben, genre, me dire, on va se peu.
Oui.
Compose qui font trop.
Hey.
And a little bit of personality.
Oh,
you can
say croissant.
Croissant. And welcome back to another episode of Enter the Nerdom. I'm here with
Stan Morrissey.
Hey everybody, it's Watson Bradshaw.
And I'm Chad, the motherfucking cook.
Boom.
Boom. Obviously.
I don't really use that middle name often, but sometimes it comes into play.
It's weird to see it on your birth certificate.
I know, it's crazy.
Do you have a wallet with that?
Motherfucker.
No, I should, though. I should. Actually, Sam, he borrowed it from me for the movie Pulp Fiction. Like, he was like, hey, can I borrow that wallet? I was like, okay.
That's weird. You're probably like 3 years old.
Yeah, no. I know. It was crazy week, man.
I got the wallet with motherfucker on
This
it.
is my wallet.
He's like, let me borrow it. Motherfucker, let me borrow it.
Hey, little boy, give me the wallet.
Yeah. And I gave it to him. So
That's nice of you.
yeah.
Made
That's
his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So you're taking credit for Samuel Jackson's career.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, wasn't his lightsaber has motherfucker written down the side of it?
It's true.
It is.
That's right.
I influenced this whole career. Yeah.
That's right. that one little phrase. Oh man.
So we have a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of news and a lot of stuff that's come out recently.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I guess we should start with the most obvious one.
Oh yes.
The movie that was, I suppose, stars Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Indiana.
We're gonna get right into it, huh?
We are. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery, or what's it called? The
Dial of Destiny.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was. We all watched it.
Yeah.
Let me get. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna clarify. I would say, since it started, the opening shot started on Indiana Jones, I think he's the main star of the movie.
Is he?
Yeah,
He's kind of in a large portion of it.
He's in it for sure.
He's wandering around.
Yeah. He's doing a job that he's been meaning to do for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Die? Because that's what they did to the character. Oh well, or end up in prison on mass murder charges. We'll talk about that.
We'll get there. Yeah,
and it's the 1960s, so he probably got the chair.
He's gonna get out of Alcatraz.
Oh, that's the next one. Yeah, Indiana Jones and Escape of Alcatraz.
There you go.
He's somehow Clint Eastwood is in it. With
Yeah.
him.
Like, oh my
I don't
God.
belong in this museum.
I didn't kill those people at my job. I don't care.
They just merge it with The Fugitive. I didn't kill.
I don't care.
So
Have Tommy Lee come back.
Oh man,
that'd been great.
Just
imagine if
old cranky man.
Tommy Lee Jones played a Nazi in like Indiana Jones movie with that southern accent. Now, Heil Hitler,
Sieg Heil.
Sieg Heil. I don't care.
For those 5 people still listening,
Yeah, sorry about that.
no, it's we should probably get into the movie.
Yeah.
We all watched it.
Did you guys rewatch the old ones?
Of course I did.
I did
Well,
not.
I watch them at least once a year, just because they're
Even the
some of the
fourth
greatest movies ever made. Well, the first 3, the 3 Indiana Jones movies that were
that
made.
matter?
Yeah, the only 3 Indiana Jones movies. Yeah.
So
those are-
the bit that was weird for me at the beginning of the movie was, at the beginning of every movie, you have the Paramount Mountain logo.
right.
Yeah.
And they've always merged it into the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this didn't have that at all.
Oh, it didn't have a lot of stuff that Indiana
Well,
Jones
yeah.
had, like including Indiana Jones.
Well,
Yeah. So I mean, look, the first 15, 20 minutes, it starts off on a train heist with Indy trying to get this dial, whatever.
Well, no, he's there for the Spear of Destiny.
the spear. Excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
Which
The
I
spear,
loved.
yeah.
I loved because I think there was a lot of people going like, oh, why isn't he going after Spirit of Destiny?
Why didn't he just do that?
Yeah.
And
It was something that was like a comic book from the 90s, and I think it was a video game as well.
Yeah, and a lot of
Why
people
didn't
kind
just
of
do that?
I love that it was kind of the red herring though. I like
Right.
that he was like, it's a fake. And because that's the big. Everyone knows kind of the story of Hitler's obsession with Spear of Destiny.
Right.
So to kind of tie that in, and I will say the de-aging effects, that first 20 minutes was magic.
It
looked so good.
Why couldn't we just get that for the entire?
Because it would have cost $600 million.
Hey, but it would have made $1 billion instead of what it's making now, which is $250 million on a $400 million budget. So
the only thing that took me out of it was you still had old man Harrison Ford voice.
There were some weird things with it. Yeah,
and
his teeth were kind of off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't try de-aging the voice, which they've done with like
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, or Vader. I was thinking,
Vader,
they did that with James Earl Jones. They de-aged his voice for Obi-Wan.
Right.
And so it was a little weird because you're seeing like 40-year-old, Indy, but he's got that 80-year-old voice.
I thought it was great, and that's the peak of their de-aging.
It looked beautiful.
It did look beautiful, but you still could tell. And I was like, I get it. Shouldn't bother me, but it was still like
it was better than The Irishman.
Yes, it was better.
He moved better.
I mean, he moved better. Yeah. But at some points, it did seem like the face was like.
The mapping was
mapping was a little well, and I can't knock.
I mean, that's nitpicking. I feel
that's nitpicking.
Just the de-aging, we know it's not going to look great.
Yeah,
it looks better than say Princess Leia did in Rogue One.
Yeah, the technology has come so far.
It looked better than cutscene Grand Moff Tarkin.
That thing gives me nightmares thinking about it.
But that's the least of the problems of this movie. I mean, okay, so we're on this train. He's after the Spear of Destiny. Mm-hmm. It's the closing of the Second World War. We're back to the Nazis, which is like, okay, Nazis again. Okay, great. And Miles Milks. I don't remember any of the characters in this movie because I just don't care enough. Miles Milk. So I'm just gonna call him Mads Mikkelsen. He plays the head Nazi and.
Voller, I believe his name is Voller.
Who cares? And and somehow Voller is on the top of a train, and it's the culmination of the fight scene. There's like anti-aircraft guns like destroying the rest of the train. Which that's like the only dope scene. It was awesome. Yeah, like I said, the first 15, 20 minutes. Voller or whatever his name is takes a pipe to the face at 70 miles an hour, and we're like, oh, he's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Well, that was a good, I guess, 15 minutes of using Mads Mikkelsen.
It was a good, dead.
Well, I think you forget that most Nazis were on methamphetamines, so he could take probably.
Well, I suppose, but it doesn't stop your face from not imploding.
He had that meth strength.
Yeah, that meth strength. Yeah, crazy strong meth strength.
No, but that is true. That was the most unbelievable.
Well, and that's why and jump ahead, but it's like I thought maybe it was his twin or something. Because when he meets Indy, he's like, I've never met you before. I was like, dude, you got smacked in the face.
It didn't. Why didn't? Yeah, exactly. So that was the other problem I had with the main villain is that throughout the entire movie, it seems like he really doesn't have that much of a problem with Indiana Jones. But if half of his face was destroyed, because of Indiana Jones,
right.
And so he has this mission. The main character, the main villain's mission is to grab the Dial of Destiny so he can go back in time and change the outcome of the Second World War by assassinating. The fucking plot doesn't make any sense. His theory doesn't make any sense. Go back in time, kill Hitler, as if that would be so easy. As everybody be like, oh, you just killed Hitler? Yeah, it's cool, bro. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You can be in charge. Okay. And change the outcome of the Second World War, right? But why couldn't it also be that half his face is destroyed? He looks like, the humpback of Notre Dame with half his face fucked up. And he also has a grudge against Indy for disfiguring him on top of what he has to do. That would have been so much better instead of Indy just kind of being like there.
Indy's just kind of there, yeah.
And the main villain is just kind of like, oh, whatever, dude. I don't have any problem with you.
Yeah.
And again, at any point in the movie, Mads Mikkelsen characters could have just shot Indy because he's not really. He is a threat, but he's got a million opportunities to just kill him, but he doesn't. As opposed to the original movies, where the main villains just didn't fuck around. I mean, look at Raiders of the Lost Ark, the bar fight when he goes to see Marion, and whatever that guy's name was in that the guy with the hand all burnt out. Yeah, one of his henchmen is fighting Indiana Jones. He's like, just shoot them both. I don't care.
Also there wasn't really a connection in that one to Indy. Really, he just wanted the item and. He would have been out. He's out of
there wasn't much of a connection, but there certainly was more of a rationale as to why the main villain wanted the Ark. He wanted it for power. And he was the main villain, was a perfect counterpoint to Indiana Jones because they were both archaeologists.
Balak.
One who had lost his way and drifted into the darkness, and Indiana Jones, who was supposed to be good and the light.
Well, I think they tried to copy that because Mads himself was a
mathematician.
Yeah,
but he was into artifacts.
He was a mathematician who didn't calculate continental drift. Which it's like 2,000 years.
That didn't matter in the end.
No,
because the crux of the time machines, it was a one-way trip.
Yeah,
or it's a one-way door.
That's the other thing I didn't get.
Because they said, Archimedes made this to have help.
Does it open time rifts or does it create them? I don't know because the script doesn't know.
So I think it just says it finds it.
Yeah, it finds it
because it's like a compass.
Okay, so
because like riding into a storm, and I think we're about to hit a portal.
Whoever hasn't seen it, we probably should explain what the dial of destruction of Indiana Jones is. So what it is Archimedes built this device to open a time rift, so that because his city's the Syracusans are being attacked by the Romans, so he builds this machine. And you can't see me rolling my eyes right now, but I'm rolling them so hard, I'm gonna give myself a headache.
He's getting dizzy.
That the
blood is pouring out of his eye sockets.
Just out of my nose, at every orifice.
It's like the end of Raiders. Yeah. Your head's just gonna explode.
I'm about to explode. So he designs this thing so that at some point an army or an individual or dinosaurs can come through the rift and help the Syracusans beat back the Romans. What are you talking about?
I mean, Archimedes.
Why would they do that? Why? Who would? Let's say the U.S. military presently found this thing.
Yeah.
Why in the hell would they be like, oh shit, Archimedes and the Syracusans need help. We should go back in time.
Well, they don't know.
Who would do that?
Yeah,
Why?
They don't know that's what its
Yeah.
intent is. They thought they could travel to whatever point.
Okay, so let's say that. Yeah, the Nazis didn't know that. I'm talking about what Archimedes did. He designed it specifically for this reason.
Yeah.
Why? What is the logic behind that? Why would any modern army or individual be like, yeah, we should go help these people 2,000 years ago? Why? Who gives a shit?
Well,
who gives a shit?
I mean,
what would it matter?
I mean, if it was more in if it was like a nefarious reason for going back, in the sense of, hey, let's send a couple guys back. We know how history works out. Let's change it into our favor.
Yeah, but they don't know. Right, exactly, and that's what Miles.
That's a Paul Walker movie.
Yeah, that's what the main character was trying to do.
Timeline?
Oh yeah.
Where they go back to the French War,
exactly.
English War.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, that's what
you just wrote that movie.
There you go.
Well, no, but I mean, like,
but that's what the main villain does. He goes back in time, thinking it's a time machine, but it's to a specific location.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, that's the only problem. That it's only going to get there.
It's a huge loophole, is what it is. That because the screenplay doesn't know what it's doing, and it doesn't care. So why should we? That's the problem, and that's a continuation throughout this entire movie. Is they do one thing after the other, it doesn't make sense. But let's go back to what happens after Second World War. We already talked. So Mads Mikkelsen's people who somehow he still has Nazis or they're henchmen. Who knows?
He's working for the U.S. government. He's working for NASA.
He's a German scientist brought over on Operation Paperclip to work on the bomb.
Yeah,
now that's been.
I don't think they ever mentioned Paperclip.
They probably don't. But that's implied. Yeah. It's heavily implied. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I guess.
Because they realized they probably thought the audience was too stupid to realize it. So
right. This was a real thing that happened.
Exactly. So he's brought back, and somehow I guess he still has Nazi henchmen, or they're just working for him. Who cares?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter because the script doesn't care either. So they want to. They're looking for the Dial of Destiny that they think the piece of it, because this thing is in pieces. They think that Disney has a piece of it, so they go to his workplace after he retires. Oh, by the way, Indy is now a depressed old man whose son Mutt was killed in the Vietnam War, who enlisted to define him, and he's also divorced from Marianne. What a complete, absolute, utter waste of a great character's legacy, but whatever. So
also, wouldn't Mutt be like 30-something when he enlists?
Probably, exactly, yeah. So
because he
don't try to rationalize.
He was like 20 in 1952.
Exactly, yeah. So, this none of this movie made any sense. So
that's true, I didn't think about that.
So
maybe it was the Korean War. Maybe
no, they say Vietnam.
No,
they said Vietnam. Yeah.
Oops.
So they go to Indy's work. He's retired, and they shoot up his coworkers and blame it on Indiana Jones. So now they frame him for murder. But before that, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's, I don't care what her, Helen or something, Helena, I think is her name.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Helena Shaw.
She shows up to his class, and of course she knows more than Indy on most topics, and she's a god.
Well, just luckily he was talking about the exact
same thing.
Same thing that they were.
She's in the background of the class because she just arrived and is answering all the questions and is already off the bat smarter than him and knows more.
No one else in the class cares.
Exactly. And she is the daughter of a friend of his who was in the first section of the movie, the first couple scenes of the movie. And she's Indiana Jones's goddaughter, who he hasn't seen since she's like 12, or they said.
And we've
10?
never heard about.
Who we've never heard about. Somehow we're supposed to care about her. And she lies to Indy and says, I'm trying to find this other piece for my father, or whatever. As it turns out, that's not true. She's just trying to make profit off of it. The CIA and the Nazi henchmen show up, and what does she do? She steals this thing from Indiana Jones, runs away, and as Indiana Jones is like, well, wait a minute, what's happening? Runs after her because there's people behind him who are clearly intent on doing harm to him, who just shot up a bunch of innocent people, right? Yeah. She locks him and the henchmen in the same room and says, sorry, deuces, and bounces out and leaves Indiana Jones there. Luckily, Indy is able to escape. Chad, I told you this before. Over text, because you saw the movie before I did. And you're like, no, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I mean,
okay. He's not done yet.
I said this to you before. And
hold on to your britches, folks.
This goes out to anybody, any of my other friends who I've known for many years as well. If we're in that situation where we have to run from a group of people clearly intent on doing us physically, bodily harm, and you lock me in a room with them and run away to save yourself, I'm going to fuck you up, dude. I'm going to fuck you up. What is this? Like, who is this person?
Very specific set of circumstances.
Exactly. It's so we already established that she's not a great person. She's a liar. Turns out she's a thief. She's not even looking to. She tells Indiana Jones
she doesn't care about the history.
She doesn't care about the history. She doesn't even care about her father's legacy.
No, she knows there's a money to be made. Exactly.
So that's what she's after.
She's Laura Croft.
No.
Well, no,
Laura Croft never. No, she's not Laura Croft.
No,
Laura Croft is the same thing.
How dare you?
She's the Nazi.
How am I wrong?
She's the Nazi girl from Last Crusade. She really all she wants is the artifact and what it will bring to her.
Right. Well, see, but here's the difference between her and Elsa. Elsa. Elsa at least believed in what the thing was. She believed. She believed in the Holy Grail. She believed in the power of it. She respected it. And in the end, she wanted it for personal reasons to like uplift herself, not necessarily for financial gain.
Yeah, this one's more of like a raider of tombs, if some.
No, I don't think it is. No? I don't think it is.
Well, no, Laura Croft never sold it. She never sold
Laura Croft does not run like that, so I don't want to hear that, dude. I don't want to hear that. So,
oh yeah, maybe give her like regular shoes instead of high heels the whole time.
I didn't
jumping from a roof off, and
that was.
And I was like, you would have broke your leg.
Exactly.
Broke your ankle.
So
not that Harrison did any better jumping off.
But there's an excuse.
He's
for
old.
him.
Yeah, he's old.
So eventually we see
still
Sala.
For an 8-year-old guy,
he did a good job.
It's all that marijuana.
Yeah,
but luckily
he's like, I'll do a shirtless scene, God damn it.
Sala knows where this thing is being auctioned off. Just so happens to know. Yeah. And Sala's like, hey, Indiana Jones, beloved character. I am also. I'd love to go on this adventure with you. No, Sala, sorry. Deuces. And then that's it. That's the last we see of Sala. I was like, what is happening here? He
was literally a cabbie.
Yeah.
They used him for a cabbie.
Yeah, exactly.
He took Indy to the airport. That was it.
I
like the idea of him immigrating and Indy helping facilitate that.
Let him have his own like restaurant or something.
Right. But it's like...
I mean, we're not disrespecting cab drivers, but this is Sala, dude. He could at least...
He's an intelligent guy.
He's a very intelligent guy. Why doesn't he have his own, at least a tourist service or his own antique shop or his own something?
Construction company or something.
Yeah. Why isn't he a professor? Something.
True.
Why couldn't he be something? No, instead he's a cab driver who's also sad like Indiana Jones and is a joke like Indiana Jones.
Desert.
Yeah, and then instead of saying, oh, hey, Sala, yeah, of course, let's go on an adventure together. No, Sala, you stay here. Okay, I'll see you later. And that's it.
The city you hate with these grandkids.
Exactly, so...
I mean, I will say if they did bring Sala along, they most likely would have shot him for the plot.
Sala would have died.
They would have killed him for the plot.
Well, it would have been better than the ending that we got with him, which is obscurity.
Yeah, true. It's very true.
So, they end up going to... Was it Cairo?
No,
it was Marrakesh? Morocco? Who cares?
Marrakesh, I think.
Oh, Marrakesh?
I think it was Morocco.
I thought it was Morocco.
Oh.
Maybe. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. And they're selling this thing off, and somehow, Okay, so the Nazis we know are trying to go back in time to start. They're trying to use the Dial of Destiny to go back in time to alter the course of history, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they just use their teleportation powers that they have in this movie? Just teleport there, because everywhere that Indiana Jones goes, they just happen to be there. They just show up.
Yeah, that was.
They just show. Hey, here we are. How did you get? What is it? How did you get here? We don't know. Half the time, they don't give any background on how they got there, how they found out where the characters are going to be.
Yep.
They're just there
There's
because
a
the
lot of
screenplay
that.
needs them to be.
Yeah,
exactly.
there needs to be conflict in that moment.
Right. So why did they just use their teleportation powers that the Nazis found?
Because that's only space.
Wasn't it?
Time.
Wait, wasn't it the CIA agent?
Yeah.
They shot her on the plane before they got off to.
That happens later on, doesn't it?
Oh, that was later on?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought that was earlier.
Yeah, because you're working in the CIA, but it seems like the CIA doesn't really have any kind of control over him, as we find out.
Well, yeah,
So
they were like,
doing,
we were trying to just, keep him happy until we got our boys into space.
Right.
Well, and then they're like, well, we did that now, so, we're going to cut him loose. But he had already, got his agents implanted and stuff.
Yeah. Well, my problem was that that she didn't know he was a Nazi. Like I thought
Who?
a lot. Like I
the
thought
agent.
Well, no, I thought
she knew.
She knew.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I thought she didn't know.
They knew. Yeah.
I thought she didn't know until like he revealed it when he got off the plane. I was like, what the fuck was that? But I felt that I was like, all right. So
no, I feel that detail was with him. Like they're not there to protect him. They're there to watch him. Kind of like a.
No, it seemed like she was helping him look for the dial.
Yeah.
And I was like, he must have promised them something from it. Be like, hey.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
we never get an explanation for that.
Yeah.
We don't know are they allies? Are they frenemies?
Yeah.
Do they know what he's doing?
Yeah.
Do they not?
It's never like the U.S. It'd be one thing if the U.S. government wants the dial as well, and they're going through this.
That's what I thought was happening, but apparently it's never made clear.
No.
Also,
until he shoots. Spoiler: they kill her eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
which is a shame because I actually like that character.
Yeah. No, she was interesting.
I would have rather seen her more than Helena.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
True. I did want to bring up though when Harrison was bringing her Helena into the room where all the like artifacts were that he pulled out the piece of the dial.
Right.
I want him to go like just rub his hand along because they were like different crates on different shelves.
Yeah.
It was like this is his version of the Top Men,
that'd have been cool.
archive.
That'd have been great.
That'd
have been awesome.
Yeah.
I would have loved that.
Yeah.
See, that sent chills through me, dude.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't get that. He just
because he was like, oh, he kept going on adventures. And
Yeah.
these are all his things.
No, he just kicked all the shelves over and destroyed everything.
Well, he did he take an arrowhead or something at one point?
I think he used it to
stab someone or something.
I don't remember. Yeah, see, you
matter.
don't remember.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. That was the one thing about this movie. Like thinking back, like the other movies, right? Mm-hmm. We can all remember
certain scenes,
sequences.
Yes.
About
phrases.
All you gotta say is like mine car, and you get it, or you say, plane fight, and you think about the first one. This one, there's not one sequence, that really stands out.
Not one.
Oh,
like the tut chase.
I was gonna get to that. So we get a tut chase, which goes on for way too long. And this is what really killed me about Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, because obviously they're trying to make her be the next, like, take on the mantle of the next, like, as you said, Tomb Raider, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, she got a Tomb Raider show, so,
she's got her own short round in the movie.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that guy. So they're in this tuck chase, and it goes on for way too long. And every single female character prior to, in every other movie before, Elsa, Marion, Willy, they had their strengths and they had their weaknesses, just like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But they were also charismatic, and they didn't have to tell people, the audience, flat out what they were. You could just see what they were just by their presence on screen. Marion was a tough woman who was still kind of vulnerable through what happened because of what happened between her and Indiana Jones. Willy was this kind of spoiled.
She's the antithesis of that.
Bombshell, but she was, but she still had her strengths. Elsa was an intelligent, cunning,
driven.
Yeah, double agent, driven. Yeah.
Hell of a kisser.
Exactly. But they never said, this is what I just said. The characters never said that. They never literally turned to the audience and said, this is what I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Helena did this in this movie during that tuck chase. What do you say? I'm I'm beautiful and intelligent and strong. She literally says that to Indiana Jones. And I'm like, if you say that shit, you're none of that. Because you're telling us, you're not showing us, and I didn't see it anywhere in the movie, that she is any of those things that she says. All I saw was a person who doesn't care about anybody but herself, and I'll get to the dynamite scene. Yeah. That's another part that I was like, what the fuck just happened? I didn't get any all the stuff that she said in that tuk-tuk chase. I didn't see it throughout the movie. And then we get to Discount Short Round, right? Who is Helena's sidekick, who is a little older than the Short Round we know.
Yeah. Isn't he Timmy or something?
Who cares? He's also a pickpocket, like Short Round's kind of backstory was. That it seems like he kind of had to raise himself as well. But here was the big differences that I saw between him and Short Round. Short Round, Indiana Jones says in Temple of Doom that Short Round's parents were killed and the Japanese invaded China, and he grew up on the street. And of course, growing up on the street, what do you have to do? You have to steal. Yeah. You have to beg. You have to do what you got to do to survive.
Right.
He tried to pickpocket Indiana Jones. Indy took pity on him and gave him food, gave him money, and became a friend of his, a father figure. This kid, we don't really know that much about him. It's hinted that he had kind of the same circumstance. We had to grow up, but he steals just to steal, just to be a fucking dick. At one point, they don't need anything. They don't need food. They don't need water. They don't need money. Yeah, they're just I think they're still in Morocco, and you just see him go over to some random character in the street and just pickpocket from him, just because. And you're like, you're just a thief, dude. You're just a common low-life thief. You're not...
I think that one scene you're referencing is because there was a brief moment where the wealthy kid was like doing something.
Oh yeah,
and then he kind of felt jealous.
In Italy, they were in Italy at that point.
Right.
And I think they were trying to convey
they made
that
fun of him because he was wearing a straw hat.
Because he was poor and stuff, and so that's why
it was a little bit of a comeuppance.
Yeah, it was like that
partially, but again, he it's a comeuppance I get, but like. We never really saw. Yeah, did people make fun of Short Round in a way, but it was when Short Round got his revenge or whatever you want to call it. It felt earned, and it felt that this character has struggled, but every time that he gets his come up, like when he's beating up that kid in the mine shaft.
I love that.
It felt earned.
He beats the shit out of that
exactly. Kid. And when he goes after those guys who were coming down, he's doing all the karate moves and he's kind of beating them up. Yeah, it felt earned.
True. You know what I'm saying? And also that kid had a shit ton of charisma.
Oh yeah,
that's the other thing.
Yeah,
this kid.
That's the other. The other female characters in the show in the series have had charisma, along with Short Round.
Yeah,
he had charisma. They had the screen every time they were on the screen, particularly Marion, particularly Short Round.
Yeah,
whenever they're on the screen, you locked onto them and said, "I can't wait to see what they do next."
Yeah,
and you were just talking about moments.
Yeah,
we know what Short Round, what Marion. What Elsa do on screen, we can just like pull it from our memory because they're so good, because they're so captivating on screen. Phoebe Waller-Bridge and that kid's name, I'm sure he's a very nice guy, but he's just, who is this kid? I didn't care about either one of them at all because they had no charisma, they had no screen presence.
This wasn't a movie to introduce new characters like that.
It was though. It was.
I mean,
it was. They're trying to pass on the mantle to Phoebe Waller-Bridge, so it was.
No, I felt like the way the movie ended, it didn't feel like they were passing it on to anybody.
The fedora, excuse me.
But it didn't pass on.
He snatches it back.
But she
left the apartment
because people were so pissed off. They had to do multiple reshoots for the ending, and because people were so pissed off at the previous ending, which is apparently Indiana Jones dies, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge literally picks up his fedora and puts it on, and the audience was like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And it got tested so poorly, they had to do multiple reshoots for the ending.
See, the thing...
And that's still prevalent throughout the entire movie.
No, and I agree with that. But the point is where the way they, ended it for the theaters, it didn't seem like she changed at all. In the sense that she's not... She wouldn't become the next Indy because she doesn't care about the museum. So why would they pass it off?
Well, and that's a problem, though. That's a serious problem. Like, from the beginning of the movie to the end, she's basically the same person. Maybe she cares about Indiana Jones a little bit, but I didn't really get that.
Yeah.
Whereas Marion was much different from the beginning from the end of the movie until the beginning.
Yeah.
Same thing with Willy. Elsa at the end was this bitter, kind of cold.
She showed her true colors.
But she showed her true colors, and she helped Indiana Jones defeat the overall villain at the end of
Crusade.
Last Crusade. Yeah, Last Crusade. Yeah. So each one of these had character arcs
Yeah.
that were relevant, that had an impact on the audience. And
Can I
as a
bring up the most misused character in the movie?
Oh, yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas.
Oh, yeah.
Can we get to
Yes.
that? That poor guy.
Who again, Phoebe Waller-Bridge just outright cold-blooded murdered and didn't give a shit about. Why am I supposed to root for this character? Like, go ahead. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
No, like yet again, like they go to see an old friend of Indy's who's going to help them dive for this MacGuffin.
Yeah.
This would have been a good place to have Sala or someone that we recognize show up.
Yeah.
Like someone. It could
Why
have
not
been
the captain from the original from Raiders of the Lost
that
Ark?
would have been great, or even like Ray Winstone's character
Oh.
from. Oh no, he died in the last one. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like bring someone back
Yeah.
rather than I'm going to bring back beloved actor Antonio Banderas as this new character that is going to be dispatched within 10 minutes.
That we are told is such a great friend of Indiana Jones.
Right. That's the problem. Everything's got to be we are told.
Exactly.
There's nothing.
Exactly.
It's so much track being laid that I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
At all.
And even with the explanation of the dial, just felt like they just constantly kept hammering. Well, we're going after this thing. Archimedes did this thing. There was a war. Like, I don't think you had to do that. I mean, I still don't know what the hell the stones did in Temple of Doom. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Right? Powerful stones, fortune and glory. That's all you care about. Okay, Cup of Christ, I get that. Like most people know that one. Same with I'd say Crystal Skull had a lot of exposition, but of course it was to explain this whole alien head thing.
Right.
I mean, the arc, there wasn't too much. It was very vague.
You had the one exposition
and it was a surprise
scene.
at the end.
I want to get to the MacGuffins for sure.
Because the arc, you had that one exposition scene with the FBI guys at the beginning.
Yes.
Where Indy pulls the book and
Right.
tells, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
The rest is just, we're going
And the
on
music
adventure.
that they play in the back, I just watched that this past weekend.
Such a great scene.
That music they play in the background, that like, kind of like that haunting kind of score in the back as he's explaining the power of the arc.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, what is this thing? Yes, that thing.
John Williams, baby.
I'm glad you brought up Antonio Banderas because he's supposed to be this great friend of Indy's. They're very close. They're on a boat. Nazis teleport out of nowhere all of a sudden.
Yeah, they know exactly
how
where
did
to
you? This is 1960 whatever. We don't have GPS yet. How did you find? Anyway, maybe Phoebe Waller-Bridge went back and went into the future and posted on her Instagram and they geotagged it and that's how they found her. Who knows?
There you go.
So the Nazis show up out of nowhere again with their teleportation powers. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character takes a stick of dynamite, throws it at the hole in the hold of the ship where a lot of people are, including a lot of Nazis and Antonio Banderas' characters. It explodes.
Well, he'd been shot.
He'd already shot.
Sorry, India's shot, right? And Antonio Banderas. Antonio Banderas' character, but it doesn't matter. He's not dead. So
no, he was shot like twice, and he dropped to the ground. He was dead. He was dead.
Yeah, but we don't. Okay, but it was but Indiana Jones is shot in the chest a couple seconds later, and he's fine throughout the movie. So
well, I mean, that's the plot armor of the person.
Either way, she throws a stick of dynamite.
He even says, "I've been shot 9 times."
Yeah. She throws a stick of dynamite and kills a bunch of characters, and as they're getting away, she's like, "Ha ha ha!" And I think at some point while they were filming this, Harrison Ford said, "We have hold on a minute.
Can we have a minute?
Hold on a minute." Yeah. Supposedly this was Indiana Jones's great friend. This character, or any human being, any compassionate human being in general, would say, "My friend was just killed." Like, I think we should. I don't think that was in the script. I think that was Harrison Ford saying, "I think we should probably acknowledge that Indiana Jones's good friend was just killed." And in this character, and again, any decent human being would say, "Whoa, my friend was just killed."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, you're right. You probably should do that, huh?" Because whoever wrote it forgot that. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character's, ha ha ha, oh my God, we got him. And he says, "My friend was just killed." She's, "Oh, sorry." And then that's it. 2 seconds later, there's back to jokey nonsense. It's just like, that's the problem with these movies is that.
And you do get some good beats with Indy. Like when she's asking, "Oh, what would you do if you can go back in time?" Probably tell my kid not to join up.
And I thought that's where this movie was going. But
that's where
I'm shaking my fist. Yes, let's get.
It's me, Shia.
Yes. So they get away in a boat, and Mads Mikkelsen's character just happens to see where their boat is going, and he figures out where they're heading.
They're not going the direction they said they were going to go.
Okay, so if you walked off to the east, and you're walking towards, and you're heading towards Burbank, I couldn't be like, oh, he's heading towards Burbank because he's walking east.
Well, but
I don't know that's where you're going. But
I mean, if it's open ocean and then like the closest,
no, Chad, that's not the way.
Well, they said they were going to go towards Crete, which was the other opposite direction.
Yeah,
and they were going towards Italy. They might have should have done some like double backing or something,
That's. But they go directly to where they are. Like
they probably saw the boat where they just left the boat.
No, Chad. No, Chad.
They knew that one harbor in the entire Italy.
Exactly. And it looks like a pretty generic boat, so I'm sure there's 1,000 others of them, So
I can't rebut that.
It's not the minnow, I mean,
it's the 60s, not many people have boats,
Oh, right. It's a short boat in the 60s.
No one in Italy.
No one had motorboats.
In the Mediterranean.
Italy only has sailboats.
They're not known for
there's no motorboat.
Fishing or sailing
either
or anything.
Nope.
Oh my God.
Fishing's not their main, source of food
at all, dude.
Nope.
I
think call it Sardinia.
They stay
I think what they did is they just sailed around the entire boot of Italy, and when they saw the one boat,
like, oh, here we go.
When they saw the one boat in Italy, that's it.
We were just about to pass it.
Anyway, again, the Nazis somehow teleport in and
to the temple.
Oh, and by the way, Indiana Jones was shot in the chest, but sometimes the script needs him to be on death's door.
I think that's times later. It needs him to
be that was
because they go through the temple bit first.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
The temple run.
Right. Yeah, they do the temple run. They find Archimedes' grave.
Yes.
Right. That's somehow very easy to get to. I don't know how nobody else has ever found this thing.
Also, when the Nazis are following them in the temple, like, did they climb? Like they did, because they were climbing that cliffside in there.
No, it doesn't matter. They were able to beam him right next to him.
Because then, like, how are they able to leave without climbing down?
Exactly.
Exactly,
Chad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean with this fucking movie, this moldy dog shit of a movie. And so they get Archimedes, whatever. They get the thing, and now they're able to. This is one of my favorite scenes. A professional writer wrote this.
Writers,
right? Yeah, writers. I don't like to pile on my fellow writers, but like, come on, guys.
Pencils down.
At one point, the kid has been supposedly taught to fly by looking at a mock setup of beer bottles and shoes or whatever the hell on the desk, and that's how supposedly it's a mock of a cockpit. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't think that's the way flying.
Like Microsoft Flight Simulator
exactly.
94.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I'm not sure that's exactly how flight instruction works, but okay.
He also learned how to swim real quick.
Exactly.
Because he couldn't swim on the boat.
Yeah, that's right. He takes out one of the main villains anyway. So
one guy says paddle, and he was like, "Oh, I'll just paddle."
This is a line lines that were written by professional writers. So at one point, they want to hijack a plane to go after the Nazis who were supposed to be going back in time, right? Mm-hmm. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge asked the kid, "Do you know how to fly that plane? Do you know how to fly a Cessna?" The kid says, "I've never flown a Cessna." And she goes, "You've never flown any plane. Then why the fuck did you ask him if he could fly a plane if you know that he can't?" What is happening? I don't get.
I think he hasn't practiced that model of single engine plane.
No, Watson.
I mean, they might have.
No. That's
I like the movie.
That's not what they were trying to. No. Anyway, they jump on a plane, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, of course, is able to use a motorcycle to jump on a moving plane. Anyway, and they go back in time.
That's a trope now.
They go back in time.
Everybody does that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Sisu did it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. They went back in time. This is not a trope.
Okay.
They go back in time, and oh shit! It's the Battle of Syracuse 2,000 years ago, and there's Romans attacking the city. And as they're flying overhead, the Romans look up and they're like, "Oh, it's a dragon." Okay. And then the Germans start leaning their weapons out and shooting at them.
Hey, that's what happened in the end of Evil Dead 2.
That's right.
No, Chad. And they just start opening up on the Romans, who are just like, why are you shooting at them?
They're stepping on so many butterflies. They killed so many branches of families.
And of course, the Romans somehow they're able to fire back with ballista bolts that are designed. They're 2,000 years old. They're designed for naval warfare. Anyway, whatever. Now they're shooting at a plane or a dragon, whatever it is, and the Germans are firing. The Germans started just by opening up on them. And it's like, why are you shooting at the Romans? What do they do to you? And even the Romans are like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
They were just confused. Everyone was confused.
I think everyone was just confused because when the first ballistic arrow hit their plane, they were like, oh, we got to, because they don't want to be stuck there and crash and whatnot. So they're just firing.
And then here's the other thing. The only reason the Romans were able to hit them somehow was because they were flying so low. What are you doing? Fly up. So you're out of the range of what are you doing?
It did kind of feel like one of the Asylum movies, like Romans versus Nazis or something. Yeah. Like that's going to be the movie that's going to come out in 3 months on DVD.
So that sounds fun.
Yeah. That's definitely like an Asylum film waiting to happen. Nazis fly to ancient Rome.
Anyway, so the
Third Reich starts.
Casper Van Dien in.
And the plane crashes, and the character, the main villain, dies. Who cares? And then Indiana Jones.
Unceremoniously, he just gets blown up.
He just gets blown up, and then Indiana Jones meets Archimedes, and he's like, "Hey, yeah." And then, of course,
You're a cool dude.
He starts explaining to Archimedes what's going on, but of course, Phoebe Waller-Bridge has to step. I got this, and she starts talking to Archimedes because she's so much better at everything that Indiana Jones is good at. She's much better.
Well, no, Archimedes couldn't understand her, so
right. That's what I'm saying. Right, because
women didn't talk back then.
Yeah. And so Indiana Jones is like, you know what? Oh, I'm buying somehow discount short rounds able to land a plane without ever having.
Well, no, there was the other pilot. There was the other pilot there. He was helping.
No, he's in the cockpit. I didn't know.
What do you mean?
No, Chad. No, Chad.
There's two seats,
yeah.
2 sticks.
No, Chad. And they're talking to Archimedes.
Cessnas aren't that hard.
And Indiana Jones, who is a hero and a role model and a legend to so many of us who grew up watching him, who wanted to be like him, who couldn't wait to see the next Indiana Jones and have watched the same Indiana Jones movies hundreds of times over and over again. And we know every single line, who is now a joke and a pitiful old man who is a broken nothing, says he just wants to be left in the past and just wants to die.
Well, and no, he said he wants to be a part of history. You know?
No, Isn't this his reward? Isn't this his reward, though?
Yeah.
Hasn't he done enough?
Right. So
how many more adventures do you want this 90-year-old man to have?
So here's both sides of that. It's either it's that he's broken, and okay, maybe this is his reward. Okay, so honor it.
He gets to see the battle that he's been studying.
Great. So honor it. And what does Phoebe Waller-Bridge do?
Punch him in the face.
Punch him. No. Don't punch him in the face. Knocks him unconscious so badly that they're able to pick up his body.
I mean, he is bleeding out. So
by the way, he's bleeding out.
And that's her thing. Is like, you need to go home. You need to be home. There's medicine that can heal you.
No,
you could fucking die of a cold out there.
Right. So the answer to that is to knock him out, do more damage to him. And by the way, he's bleeding out. He's knocked out.
She knows the exact amount of pressure to knock someone out.
If you punch a certain place in the jaw of someone, that knocks them out.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
seen Indy do it to so many Nazis.
And they pick him up, put him on the plane, fly back to his apartment, land somewhere in New York, drive to his apartment.
Yep.
Well, he's still knocked out. Oh no, he's still knocked out. Oh, by the way, he's still bleeding.
No, they patched him up a bit.
No, Chad. That's not the way sucking chest wounds work, dude. I know.
They burned the shit out of it.
Oh yeah, they took an iron.
No,
and
they
cauterized it.
Watson, that's not the way sucking chest wounds work. No, that's not the way they work. That's not the way you heal them. No. And then they take him up to his apartment.
That's what Rambo did.
They take him. No, that was on the side. That's different. And that was an arrow, not a bullet. Don't try to lecture me on this shit, bro. And they take him, and he just miraculously wakes up in his apartment. And Marion is there, and
there's penicillin sitting there.
Oh yeah, sure. And they get back together for the 90th time, and then 2 hours after the movie ends, police break into his apartment, arrest him for mass murder, and Indiana Jones dies in the gas chamber.
Yeah, but he's fucking at that point. He's like knee deep in Marion.
Well, I don't think he is.
Sweet Marion.
But no, he had to put on his hat first.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like, hey, let me kiss your elbow.
Maybe they let him put his hat on before they grilled him in the electric chair, because that's how he died. Because by the way, the
kiss scene was cute, but I was almost like gagging a bit.
It was forced. It was a little forced.
By the way, the entire reason why Indiana Jones somehow the Dial of Destiny could clear him of murder, I don't know how, but somehow could. That was never resolved. So Indiana Jones at the end of the movie is still wanted for murder.
CIA still coming at him.
So and you like this movie? You like that Indiana Jones died by lethal injection?
No,
I would love to see the epilogue. No. Like the post credit scene is just him getting the electric chair.
I'm surprised he didn't do it.
Indiana Jones on the run.
I'm surprised he didn't do that.
It'll be Indiana Jones
and the Fugitive. Yeah, exactly.
I definitely had my gripes.
It wasn't me. It was the Nazi.
Let me hit on some important thing that I realized throughout watching this movie. Yeah. Right, the MacGuffins in Indiana Jones, particularly the first three, the only three that matter, they all have a personality to an extent. Right, the Ark has a personality. Right, when you see it in the crate with the Nazi symbol on it, burns the Nazi symbol.
It's righteous. Yeah.
Meaning it goes after evil. At the end of the movie, when they open it, it kills everybody who had the arrogance to look upon its power. Right, it spares Indy and Miriam because it sees that they're humble enough, and because they're closing their eyes, and probably sees because they're tied up, whatever. Exactly, and allows them to live, right? The Shankara stones bring life to whatever village it's in, right? Yeah. You can make an argument that Indiana Jones in his haze, when they pour that liquid down, was it the liquid that they poured down his chest, or was it the Shankara stones that also drove the main villain of that movie kind of crazy, to be a fanatic and to believe in the power of Shankara stones? So was it Shankara stones that kind of were driving people?
He betrayed Shiva.
He betrayed Shiva. Yeah. Right, exactly. And then when Indy
catch the stones,
right, and then when they're on the bridges collapse, Indy starts chanting, and the Shankara stones come to life. Yeah. Right, because he says you've betrayed what the Shankara stones are supposed to be, or what they represent. You've betrayed them. So they start to come to life. The Grail, same thing. It takes people who are righteous and spares them and gives them extra life. People who are not, to an extent, it doesn't. Right?
Just can't pass the steel.
Exactly. And it seduces when Elsa falls down into that ridge. It kind of seduces people. Yeah. And it tests them. Yeah. It says, do you want to continue to live life, or do you want to come after something that's vain and out of your control?
Dad, it's just right there.
Exactly. Yeah. And Elsa falls her death. And what happened? Indy, when he's up there trying to pull us up, he's just like, let it go. And then he falls in. Yeah. And what does Indy do? He tries to go after it. So that you can make the argument that the Grail is testing Indiana Jones and saying, do you want to go for vanity, or do you want to go for life? And he listens to his dad, and he pulls him up. Yeah. And Indy kind of...
And the dad's the one that's been obsessing over it.
Exactly. So and what happens at the end of that movie? The arc is that...
Let's just watch the third one again,
exactly. The arc of that movie is that they patch themselves up as father and son, and they run off into the distance. What happens at the end of this movie? He gets back together with Marion? Okay, we've seen that twice already.
Yeah.
So what?
True.
So what? True. And then Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's a terrible person, just continues to run amok in the city. Yeah, be terrible. Probably murders 50 other people over a diamond necklace. Who knows? I mean, this is again, like I said it before. I'll say it again. What a moldy piece of dog shit this movie was. It was terrible. Sorry, guys. My rant is over there.
So we're saying we recommend this, or
I don't recommend it at all. Why can we get? Sorry, guys.
No, yeah, get it out. Get it out.
Why I am?
This is a safe space.
This is something I've been holding in.
It's a safe space,
and I wanted to talk to you guys about this. Why couldn't we get? Just hear me out, right? Why couldn't we get something like Mutt is missing, right? And Short Round has been with him, and he goes to Indy and says, "We've been looking for whatever the dial, whatever you want to do with it," and say, "Indy, Mutt is missing. He went missing, and wherever, we got to go find him." And now it's Short Round, Indy. Oh, and guess who else can help out? Sala. Gonna go try to find Mutt. Why couldn't we gotten that movie, right? And why couldn't we gotten a scene in that movie where you could do whatever. You could do Nazis, you could do Russians, where again, they're fighting, and Indy's about to get killed or shot by an enemy, and who saves him? Right? Who saves him? Short Round. He says, goodbye, Jones, and boom, Short Round saves him. You call him Dr. Jones. Why couldn't we get something like that?
I mean, that would be that would be pretty.
Why
good.
couldn't we get something like that?
Hey, it's never too late.
Or Mutt is dead, and those three characters use the Dial of Destiny to go back in time and save his life.
I honestly thought that's where it was going.
Or go back in time and not just like, hey, you can't enlist. just like we had a father-son redemption in the third one, like a father-son.
Yeah.
Indy was distant from his father. They made up at the end, and they're close. Why couldn't we have that with Mutt and Indy at the end of this one?
Do you think
where they go back in time and they say, "I'm sorry for whatever it is. I'm trying to be a better father," whatever it was. And at the end of the movie, you have Mutt and Indy becoming stronger and closer as father and son, and that's the resolution of the movie. God fucking damn it!
Do you think you make it a better movie if Mutt is missing in action?
That's what I was thinking.
Like, he's not dead, but he's missing in action.
Whatever. That could have been great too. Yeah, he's
and then you can
he's in Vietnam and he's missing,
Right.
and
then
somehow Short Round, who's in that area, says,
Yeah.
"By the way, Mutt's missing. We should go find him."
Yeah.
Boom. Now we have a movie with Indy, Short Round, and Sala going to go find Mutt.
Viet Cong could be your enemy,
Right? And I don't know how you would throw in like the mystical thing. Maybe you don't have to, but
Well, there's plenty of
Right.
relics in that area. I'm
Right.
sure. There's
he went missing. He joined the army and he went missing. In that
maybe they think he's in Vietnam, but he's actually in Thailand or Cambodia. Or
right,
something,
he's in he's in Thailand, Cambodia, and he went missing in Kuala Lumpur. I'm not sure if that's in that region.
Right.
In one of the ancient
Right,
temples.
yeah.
Because he was part of like an army experimental whatever.
Or he went
team.
AWOL trying to find something for his dad or something.
or
if
his
he joined up just to be able to get into that region.
Well, I could see it being, because you know how there was a group in the World War II who went after art that was stolen by the Nazis, and
right.
So what if
there's
what if there was a case of Viet Cong were taking, very
mystical items?
Mystical, but also just artifacts of Vietnam and the Asian area and stuff like that. So, and then he's. Mutt's on the case of that, but he gets missing in action,
right.
And then Indiana Jones goes over there to save his son, but also retrieve whatever. Maybe there's a deal of artifacts.
Or you could have had the main villains, maybe not necessarily be the Vietnamese or the Viet Cong, because that's still kind of politically sensitive.
True.
You could have definitely the Khmer Rouge were pretty evil. You could have them as the people who murdered 2 million of their own residents, of their own civilians, of their own citizens, or a warlord in that region, something like that.
Right.
I mean, that
or you could have Indiana Jones go up against Charles Manson, because Manson's a cult leader and he believes in mystical. He believes in mystical things. He gets like Satan's Bible or something like that.
I suppose.
And then Indiana and his son Mutt gets pulled into the hippie group of Charles Manson.
I'd much rather watch that movie, Chad.
Brad Pitt's there just
Brad Pitt's there, taking his shirt off and
fixing some roofs.
Leo is the head. He's Charles. He plays Charles Manson, and I think that would be a pretty good film. Pretty good stuff.
Anyway. Yeah, what a terrible movie. I don't recommend it. I'm glad there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, it's a shame that, it took him, Crystal Skull came out
2007? 8, I think.
Wow.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7, I think, yeah. And it took this long to make a fucking piece of shit. Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's like, I had faith that, James Mangold as a director, I really dig.
Did I tell
thought
you?
it was a good...
Yeah.
Did I tell you? I said, I don't think their directors are going to have that much power over this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because these kind of movies are directing by committee. They're not directing by a personality.
I think it looked better than Crystal Skull. Like,
for sure.
Just from a film snob kind of point of view, I think it was shot better. I think the lighting looked better. It looked less flat. You can tell a lot of it was still was practical.
Yeah.
Versus the last one where it was just swinging on CGI vines for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I'll still say it took me out of it a lot because it was so zoomed in for a lot of the shots.
A lot of close-ups.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was a problem.
And I know it was to cover a lot of the CG and stuff like that, but it was just like the whole time I was like, give us some...
Step back a bit.
Let us see the area around them.
And Spielberg's a very, he likes to show the wider picture. And that's because he loved
landscape,
John Ford movies.
Yeah.
And, it's a different era of filmmaking that we're not seeing anymore. And
well, if we get what's a cinematographer from Blade Runner 2049, and he did a bunch of other Sicario.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name.
Won the Oscar.
No, he's really good.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it now, but he's won couple awards, or at least been nominated for a bunch.
Yes.
And he still does that. He still
Roger Deakins.
Roger Deakins.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I mean,
Filling the
Sicario was a
frame,
gorgeous movie.
Like maybe that movie
Get
would
a-
have been
get a
better
Deakins
if
in there.
Deakins got your shots for you. But
but this is not. Yeah, I'm really disappointed, and I knew this is where it was going to go, and I mean, it's been said a lot, but Lucasfilm, I don't know where they're at right now, but they've managed to do a disservice to Star Wars. Now they did a disservice and Willow, and now they've done a disservice to Indiana Jones, which is heartbreaking because it's one of my. I love the character.
Here's the problem I have with Lucas: they're not coming up with anything new.
No.
They're retreading. It's like, okay, we're gonna keep doing Star Wars. We're gonna keep doing Indy.
Right.
We're gonna keep doing Willow. What was the last new property they come out
Nothing.
with?
True.
Nothing.
Come on, man. You spent $4 billion on this film group. I mean, obviously you're buying it for Star Wars.
yeah.
But let's get those juices flowing, baby.
Well, and I will also say off that, you're bringing out an Indiana Jones film, and everyone probably a little bit younger than us and
They
older.
don't care.
No, like older. I'd say a little bit younger than us. Anyone younger than I don't know, 29, 28.
Yeah.
No one cares about Indiana Jones.
Right.
No.
And that's why you're not going to pull in a bunch of kids. No one cares about.
And this was the thing. They were looking at the data of people buying tickets, and it was mostly people over 45 and older.
Yeah.
Were buying tickets.
And 30s,
pre-order.
mid-30s.
They didn't care because, we grew up, and Indy was a lot on television, on cable.
Yeah.
You had the new Indiana Jones Adventure show. You had,
Right.
it was, there was even a few video games at that point.
Yeah.
There was even comic
books,
at that point.
novels.
There's been nothing Indiana Jones
Right.
for the longest time.
Yeah, because it took 16 years to put something else out.
Right.
I mean,
you could have done.
What do you
could have
expect?
done an animated series, and people would have, bit a little bit more on
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And it's 2 decades. What do they expect?
Yeah.
That's a whole generation that you've missed out on.
Yeah,
'Cause,
they don't
even
care to watch.
Yeah.
Because this is clearly just we want to get people into seeing Harrison Ford
Right.
again. But if
Yeah.
you're if you're 20 years old, you don't care.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's
Justin, I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm. And
very specifically.
It's it's very tragic and very heartbreaking for me. I mean, it really is. I love this character. I grew up with him, and to this day, I still listen to the Indiana Jones theme just while I'm driving, and I love it. And this is what it's become. It's pretty sad. So, just like we didn't get Han, Luke, and Leia in the same shot ever.
Yeah.
And now we never will.
That is very tragic.
And that's what Lucasfilm is doing.
We don't talk about that. This is
it's
blasphemy. Just to even reference.
I know. And on that note,
jeez,
Just a pressing
anyone
note.
still listening?
Anyone?
Or is
Yeah.
everyone just bummed out?
Anyway, let's try to cheer him up with a little something. Maybe what should we go into the DC casting?
Oh yeah. So this week,
no.
oh my gosh, DC. I think a lot to do with a lot of this feels like it's kind of like we gotta do something like obviously no one's going to show up at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And The Flash was and is listed as the biggest superhero flop of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Losing, WB's set to lose something like $200 million
It's
on
too
this.
bad. It wasn't a terrible movie either.
Not terrible. I just
But not great. No,
mishandled and obviously
Ezra Miller issues.
issues there. So some casting news came out for James Gunn's new DCEU. We got the casting of both Superman and Lois for Superman Legacy. I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for our last episode.
Yeah, we talked about it 2 weeks. Yeah, and now just this week we got casting news of four major superheroes in the world. We got Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner,
which I'm shocked because Nathan is up there in age.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe this guy Gardner, he's already been the Green Lantern. He's coming from space.
Well, this is and taking the name Superman Legacy.
Yeah.
Right. And I was wondering why that title? Why? And then we're going with this older generation. Like it feels like this is the older generation, the JSA possibly passing the torch to a younger generation, being Superman. and we're introducing Hawkgirl into this, who's also like kind of a character that is reborn multiple times. So and Mr. Terrific got cast, and also Metamorpho just got cast, and so with NoHo Hank, which I love.
That's great.
So I just love the idea of kind of this like Superman isn't the first superhero to show up on the scene.
No.
He's probably the new kid on the block, and then it's kind of this, these older generation. Maybe it's an older Guy Gardner going like, all right, kid, it's your turn,
True.
I hope he's an obnoxious asshole too and just gets punched by Batman in one punch.
I mean, like, not obnoxious, but he feels righteous at first, or self-righteous, enough to be like, it should be done this way, but, him, I mean, like, do you think Batman will make an appearance?
I don't know. I mean, they're setting, they want to make a Batman movie by the next couple of years. So
if like Damian is already a part of his life, then he's been Batman for
a while. Yeah.
So I would think there would be a reference to him in Superman Legacy at some point.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
And I love that James Gunn came out and said like, oh yeah, no, he's gonna have the bowl cut. I want to give Nathan Fillion the bowl cut. And I'm like, that's nice. So we got some sweet casting news. And
I was shocked for Isabella for Hawkgirl because Merced. Because the last time I saw her, she was in Sicario 2, Day of the Soldier, Soldado. So I was like, oh wow, I was like, she just sprouted up. Like she must have been older than she was playing in that movie.
You're right.
I was like,
didn't
really?
See that one. So
I'm hoping the Hawkgirl we get is the one from the Justice League cartoon, the Thanagar, because like the other one I don't know too much, but I know the Thanagar Planet one. She was a bit more popular, so I think a lot of people will know that one more.
Well, the one they did in Legends of Tomorrow, they kind of mixed in.
Oh, they did?
The Thanagarian and Egyptian kind of background stuff, where they were Thanagarians that came to ancient Egypt and just are like cursed to keep coming back, which is kind of neat. So,
my question: do you think it's going to be modern, like? Or will it be like how Batman the Animated Series had that kind of Art Deco?
Oh, the aesthetic of
it? Because if they're having these older heroes pop up.
It would be great if
he's a younger Superman.
Yeah.
But you have Mr. Terrific, and he's very advanced with tech. That's what I'm kind of like, all right, is he going to be...
but I liked, speaking of Batman Animated Series, like they did modern tech. Like people had laptops, but they had that Art Deco look.
So it could still work.
I kind of love that aesthetic. I think that's going to be that really because they are doing like this is going to be a this is the start of a universe. So I don't know if you want to lock everyone into that.
No,
aesthetic.
that's true. That is true.
Right.
I mean, you could probably do that as an Elseworld thing.
True.
Of like a 1940s style world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could still at least have the building structure.
Yeah, even Superman Returns, the Brandon Routh one, had a very Art Deco-y kind of 40s vibe to it, and still had it modern. So I think it works. Yeah, and you can play with it. I think.
True.
So and you can just say, well, Metropolis is kind of like that,
right?
And do you? I was wondering also if Superman Legacy is he already going to be Superman because we've already seen so many times.
I believe he said there's no origin.
Okay, so
it's kind of like a...
He's already in Metropolis, or is he just...
I think it's...
He's in Smallville?
I don't know. See, I believe it's going to be like a Superman Year 2 kind of scenario. But, I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched the My Adventures with Superman cartoon that's on
I meant to watch it before this episode, but I didn't get to.
It's fantastic. It's a great take on an origin story with Superman. It's kind of done in a... I mean, it's almost kind of Airbender, kind of like... not quite anime look.
Yeah.
And it's Superman, it's Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen are interns at the Daily Planet and kind of starting their career.
I see.
And so it's a really interesting kind of how it all began. And I hope the movies kind of emulate that.
Well, I saw the sequence of Clark turning into Superman. It
Yeah.
was like Sailor Moon. Very
it's very
influenced by
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like the New 52 comic books did that too.
Really?
Where his suit was kind of like Kryptonian armor that came out of.
I do remember that.
Yeah, he had like the chest symbol, and it kind of like expanded over him.
That's
So
interesting.
it's a very New 52 thing, but
Okay.
but yeah, I'd say check out the cartoon if you can. It's on Max.
Yeah, there's
Or,
actually
Cartoon
on
Network, I
YouTube. They have the first episode up for free.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
don't
Oh, nice.
Just
Yeah, we'll
pull in more
put a link or
eyes.
something.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a good, and it's Jack Quaid is the voice of Superman,
Yeah.
and he does a great job.
He does
with
a great
it.
job.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like, because I thought, he's just gonna do like Huey from The Boys.
Or he'll be his dad,
You're right.
Dennis Quaid.
Or he does the voice in
Or his uncle.
What's the animated Star Trek show he's on? Lower Decks.
Oh, okay.
I thought he'd be doing more of that
Okay.
register, but no, he's great.
He's,
Nice.
All right.
He sounds like Superman.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's
Hey,
check that out.
how about that Wolverine suit?
Oh,
yeah.
dude.
That thing looks fucking dope. That thing looks
I
dope.
love it. I think it's, someone was listening, like 23 years of Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. We finally get him in the.
Yep,
Well,
exactly.
And I love, there's already complaints. There's already a lot of people complaining
I'm not.
online.
I have no
What are they
complaint
complaining
about it. I know some people were like the arms.
Yeah,
it-
why
there
is he
should be-
not sleeveless? Why
Oh,
is the
but the thing
mask?
But the thing is, I think I heard like he also is susceptible to melanoma, like
Yeah,
sun
yeah.
damage. So I can understand him having it. But also, his arms aren't as huge as the Wolverine from the
Right.
cartoon, so
Yeah.
it would look weird.
I mean, he looks great.
no, he does look great.
He's
he
like
does.
a 50-year-old man.
But
yeah,
I
exactly.
think the full sleeve looks perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know why it took this long for people to like, oh, it would look silly. But it's like, yeah, but you could have made the knee pads and make it look more
Right.
functional back then. Like, it wasn't that hard to imagine. I don't know.
I mean, it's the 2000s. We're coming off the Matrix.
It was,
I mean,
the
yeah.
blade of the
Leather look,
Matrix
yeah.
was prevalent,
Yeah.
But it was just like, this is so simple.
Right.
Like, I was just like, where was
There's
the
a
costume
great
designer?
yeah.
You know?
There's a great documentary for the Daredevil movie from 2004 with Ben Affleck,
Oh, wow.
where the studio Fox was like, he can't wear red, like it's got to be black leather, and they had to go through like every shade of red to
Black
finally.
leather.
They
Wow,
literally
come
were just
on.
like, if it's a superhero movie, put him in black leather, and they literally had to fight to be like, this is Daredevil.
Yeah.
He dresses like the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had to
Which-
compromise with a leather suit.
Yeah, yeah. They
Which
did
that
do the
suit didn't
leather.
look terrible.
Which we might see
Yeah.
again in
Right,
in
yeah.
Deadpool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of rumors of people showing up on set,
That's-
including
okay.
I think Jennifer Gardner did get confirmed
She
that
did.
she was
Yeah,
there
she did. She-
as
yeah.
Elektra, and
Yep.
Ben Affleck's been seen on set too. So
Exactly.
Wait,
I
are
think
we
it'll be
having
great.
multiverse in the Daredevil show? Or-
I mean, it would make sense in that because there's like everybody just showing up and you're like, oh, hey, yeah, you know how Daredevil is. It's
There's a great
very-
comic book
yeah.
out there called Daredevil Kills the Marvel Universe,
Mhm.
where he literally just goes and slaughters.
nice.
And I believe they are kind of taking that as their template of like Deadpool kills the Fox universe.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're going to see a lot of the Fox characters show up and just get murdered.
Okay.
That'd be
Well,
funny.
That'd be interesting.
The no, I'm blanking on what I was just about to say. Go on, whatever.
Vamp.
Yeah,
Vamp.
I don't think that that suit is going to stay with the sleeves. I think it's going to go sleeveless at some point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or at least
you know.
Deadpool make a comment like, "Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think
Yeah.
you need to
Yeah.
breathe?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
needs to breathe a bit. Maybe rip off."
Or
This.
it's going to be some kind of like meta joke. It's just going to be like, you know what, and he just like tears his.
Well, I'm
his
sure
sleeves
he
off,
has
you
the
know?
mask on at some point, and it gets just
Right.
like,
Yeah,
fuck
we're
this
gonna
mask,
see
it's-
see some battle damage.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
battle damage
Like
for that.
it'll be it'll be ripped up and shredded. But I think we just saw it in like the most pristine version of it.
Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. I hope in the Daredevil show he actually swings with his baton stuff because it's grappling hook
Right.
on it, and he swings around the
nice.
city.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they would throw in Spider-Man and him swinging together, but probably not.
That'd be
Because,
dope.
For Charlie Cox's Daredevil.
yeah, for Charlie.
Yeah,
Cox,
let's do it.
Yeah, I'm down.
Because you already have Kingpin taking arrows to the chest and stuff. So-
I love it. I love it.
So-
They get really weird and comic booky with it.
I want to know how they're going to explain away the how he survived that bullet to the face. And,
Kingpin. I
from,
believe it's going to be dealt with in the Echo
But wasn't that like
TV
pushed
show.
back or canceled? Or
It's
something?
coming out in October, but they're dumping the whole series in one day.
That doesn't sound good.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
no, it
sound
does
like.
not.
I mean, like,
I don't.
listen. I don't know if you guys are watching Secret Invasion.
No, I'm not.
No.
It is not great.
No,
I
I've heard. That's why I'm not watching because I heard.
I heard it got
don't
interesting
waste
with
your
the
time.
fourth episode with Rhodes, though. With
Yeah, I mean, yes, it got a little bit more. I mean, the problem is it is still kind of like
Well, I heard Fury is just a sad old man in this.
there's a lot
kind of
of
a joke.
Yeah, there's a lot of the joke is he's a sad old man. I think it's
That's
a lot of him
Oh,
playing.
gee, really? Disney and Lucasfilm just making legacy characters just sad old men? What
I
a
feel
shock.
it's a lot
I've never
of
done that
he's,
before.
he's trying to convince everyone that he's inept and convincing that everyone that he's not on the edge that he is. But
I
don't
doubt.
know.
I doubt it's a joke. I doubt it's an act. I should
At
say.
the end, he's just gonna be like, "I'm old."
Yeah.
No, at the end, I want to see him. He actually grows his hair out, and then he's got the silver,
The
strip
sides.
sides to his hair, and then because is he wearing an eye patch in this? Or no,
He hasn't hit the eye patch again.
Yeah, it's a bummer that they got rid of that because he's like, oh, I got a digital eye. I was like, make the eye patch.
It doesn't
digital.
matter. Every single time I look at it, that I remember how he lost it, and I'm like, I just roll my eyes. So another reason I'm
can't.
not watching Secret Wars. Speaking of superheroes, we had another Blue Beetle. Is it another trailer?
Trailer.
Or-
Yeah, we got a
trailer.
second trailer for Blue Beetle, which is looking more and more fun every time
Yeah.
I see it.
I mean,
It did.
I'm probably gonna check it out.
I was pulled in on this one. Last one, it looked very CW. And
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
This one, they showed a little bit more of what the suit can do.
can do.
I will say, though, I think there's just something that's disconnecting for me with the mask. Like, since the eyes don't express themselves and, like, it's very
Right.
Iron Man. And I was like, I get that, but it's also, like, he's a kid and I kind of want to see his...
Yeah, I mean, that's
emotion.
I agree
Right.
because the Blue Beetle in the comic books, and also if you watch the Young Justice cartoon, he's a big part of that. His mouth, it's one of those, like, his mouth moves with the mask, and you get a lot more expression. And even in the Injustice video game, he has more of a humanoid face.
Yeah.
With this, I believe it's like just the bottom, like jaw,
Yeah,
like the
that's-
mandible moves a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, obviously, it's a way to save money.
Do you think we'll
You know?
get the Iron Man POV?
Yeah, I think. Oh, I don't
know
know if
what I
you'll
mean?
see him in the suit, kind of thing. Because
I think they might give you at least one shot of that.
yeah,
Just so
it's very.
he's
I
like-
think Iron Man has made that so iconic.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that without it being like, I see what you're doing. You're ripping off Iron Man.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the suit talks to him just
Yeah.
like in Iron Man. Jarvis spoke with,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it was because I was in the movie theater, and the Blue Beetle trailer came up, and a random dude next to me, obviously not a comic book guy, but just someone next to me was like, he's like Green Lantern, because he's making all these weapons out. Of nothing.
yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like, I guess in some ways.
In a way, yeah.
I'd be like, oh no, I think you mean cyborg, idiot. Get the hell out of here.
You're out of here.
Take these Swedish fish. Get the fuck out of here.
And then we also got a new Ahsoka trailer,
Yeah,
which is pretty dope.
I'm
I'm actually,
looking better and better.
I was just talking shit about Lucasfilm, and I will when they deserve it. But I'm looking forward to this series. I don't know how they can mess it up. I'm sure they probably try their hardest.
Andor brought you back in.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
No?
Andor gave me
Hope.
No, I gave me relieve my indigestion a little bit. Let's just put it that way.
All right.
All right,
It was like
but you're still a little.
Yeah, it was
hesitant?
like a shot of Pepto Bismol. Let's just put
Okay.
it that way. But no, I'm still I don't. We were just talking about how
You're still getting some polyps.
yeah.
You're getting,
Yeah, we're still talking about how like Disney and Lucasfilm are doing this to legacy characters. They're making them sad, old, miserable people. I mean, we got a million examples. Recently, it's been Indiana Jones, but Luke Skywalker, Nick Fury, and so I think that because Ahsoka isn't really a character that we got to see age at all,
Right.
aside from where she's at now, they don't really have that kind of room to do this. So she'll probably still become a little sad and upset that the Jedi Order is falling apart.
I think she's
and she's on her own. But
I think she's mainly sad about Anakin, though.
Anakin, yeah, exactly.
And that's reasonable.
Right, but I don't think they're going to make her pathetic like they have some of the other characters.
No, and I do love they're tying in Sabine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her kind of training with Ahsoka.
That's pretty dope, yeah.
Looks really cool.
Now, I'm curious. Oh.
No, go ahead.
I'm curious about Rey. I'm blanking on his last name. He passed away. He's one of the...
Steven.
Yeah.
Rey Skywalker.
No.
Don't you dare.
The name is Rey Skywalker.
But him and his apprentice... Because I was like... They say they're not Jedi. Obviously, they're not Jedi. But I was like... Are they Sith? Because their lightsaber kind of looks orange.
It's more orange, for sure.
It seems like they're probably trying to introduce like the gray Jedi, you know?
I mean,
which are like the gray Force users.
Yeah. But if you listen to Freddie Prinze Jr., he's like, "There's no gray Jedi. There's light, and then there's dark."
Who's Freddie Prinze Jr.? Come on,
he was in Rebels, man.
Come on,
he was Kalen.
Yeah,
George Lucas told him how it works. You know,
if he's calling the shots for how the Force, well, you know what? You're probably right. It is probably Freddie.
No, but I mean, I'm
because they don't seem to be Inquisitors. They don't Inquisitors,
and they know Anakin because the guy was like, "Anakin's told me about you."
About you. Well, yeah.
So maybe they're Sith.
I think maybe they're like kind of like Dooku was ex-Jedi.
Yeah.
And
turned Sith. Maybe they're kind of on the verge of that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're full Sith.
I think it could also be just Jedi people who were Jedi at one point but have turned away from both the Jedi but aren't Sith. You know, they're nihilists at this point.
I don't know if they're after a MacGuffin, but it seems like they're just after power, and Thrawn is their gateway to that or something like that.
So that's the other problem I have with this show is that's one of the problems. Thrawn is the average, casual Disney. Who they're going to be like? Who the hell is Thrawn? Who's that? Why should I care who Thrawn is? We know who Thrawn is.
Right.
Yeah.
But the average character, the average watcher of the casual watcher of Star Wars is not going to know who that is, and they're not going to really care.
I'm interested because this show feels very much like it's the next season of Rebels.
Right. Right.
And, or like a continuation of Rebels.
Yeah. So
I don't know how much of they have to backpedal on those characters. Because you see Hela and all Chopper and all those characters in there, and like, are they going to be like, well, they had adventures with Sabine, and they I don't know if they're going to do that, or if they're just going to assume, hey, if you don't want to watch the Ahsoka show, go watch Rebels. Like this is going to be that's your gateway into this.
But I wonder, will the Ahsoka show lead up to? Because it takes place between Return of the Jedi and what's it called? The seventh movie.
Oh, Force Awakens.
Yes, Force Awakens. Right. That's where it takes. So, is there going to be a moment where they're having Thrawn's like? Are those What was the leader of the Snoke? Are those Snoke clones ready? Are we?
Oh God.
So I'm curious if they're gonna still try to connect it.
Probably.
I mean, or how close it is.
Or they're probably still under orders to connect it somehow.
Because I mean, Thrawn is
because they're still trying to push that.
He's not the new he's still the remnants of the Empire, but he's not the First Order yet. So,
and they've already kind of announced that he's going to be the big bad for the combo movie where it's it's
Matt Filoni.
Exactly.
Or Dave Filoni.
So we're not going to see a resolution out of this show. We're probably going to see him get away. I mean, to be honest.
One question. So I don't remember if I ever saw this or not. Mm-hmm. How is it that Thrawn was able to go around the Empire's prejudice and racism against alien species?
Because he was damn good at his job.
That's why?
Yeah. Okay. Like, he knew that they hated him for his...
Right.
But because he was such a great tacticianer, he would get...
I mean, they did hire aliens to, like...
Right, but it's very clearly put in the books that because of his blue skin, he was he had to work twice as hard.
Yeah, that's true.
You know who else was also hated for not being part of the countrymen that he led? Napoleon.
Oh yes,
that's a good segue. We also
I was going Wonka. Where are we going with this?
We just got a Napoleon trailer as well.
Yes.
That looks really interesting.
Yeah.
I really want to see that.
Yeah, I mean, Ridley Scott, when it comes to era or time pieces like that, or he always knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, they're not burying the lead that it's a Ridley Scott joint. They're just like Ridley Scott,
It's Ridley Scott,
the maker of every good movie you've ever
But
seen.
I will say they missed one. Such a good opportunity they could have had where. Since Joaquin Phoenix is the lead, they have Russell Crowe as the antagonist in the movie, just to switch the roles from Gladiator. I'm like, you guys could have had
That would have been.
That would be great.
Yeah,
Although
that would be
Napoleon
great.
is kind of antagonist.
I mean,
but He's the dictator.
maybe
True.
they
but
could have.
they seem like he's gonna be charming and very
Yeah.
Russell Crowe could play Waterloo. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
He could be. I forget what
or
country.
Wellington. Sorry,
What country that would be coming
Britain.
from? But
Britain,
I mean,
yeah.
he could be Britain, or he could be Russian. Whatever.
That's true.
So I think
I
either
think there's time to still throw him in there.
Ridley, just if you're listening, here's the deal. Get. I mean, he's jealous you're not bringing him back for Gladiator 2.
Well, he's working on the Russian exit for Craven.
Yeah,
so he
he's
can definitely
already
play a Saw or
I
something.
bet they didn't just show him because he's like a secret pop.
Oh yeah,
pop-up character.
that's gonna make the crowd go crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joaquin and
I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's all practical effects. It looks very expensive. It looks like they made a Napoleon movie back in the 1970s.
yes,
And it kind of looks like it's along the same vein, which is like there's a shot of, speaking of the Battle of Waterloo, there's a shot where you have Napoleon's army coming down the kind of like this hill, and they use something like 10,000 extras, and they had like in costume with like real bayonets like glinting off their rifles, and like the sun caught
crazy.
the sun caught like all the glinting of the actual bayonets, and so it was just like it felt
It's
like
a magic
it was,
shot right there.
it looked like it was like a real battle was about to happen like from that time.
Well, I can't
so.
wait for him to end up in San Dimas and get on the water slide.
Oh yeah.
It's a big part of you don't know about the Napoleon story when two guys from San Dimas show up in a
telephone booth
and they pick him
they
up.
pick him up and
Yes,
He's a Ziggy Piggy. Ziggy Piggy.
Also-
Ziggy Piggy.
also the time where
yes, I know what you're talking about. Socrates. Oh no, Socrates.
also where he's making deals with a jack of all trades, a Bruce Campbell
Yes.
type.
Oh my god.
He's portrayed a little bit shorter there by Vern Troyer, but still.
That Napoleon got around.
No,
Yeah,
he
he
did.
did.
He got
Yeah,
it.
he did.
He's jumping all over the place.
You know who else gets around a lot? Tom
Who?
Cruise.
Oh, Tom Cruise.
Oh, that man.
Because you
God
guys
bless.
recently watched Mission Impossible.
We did.
I have not watched it. I have my tickets.
Dun 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 dun.
All right. Well, enough.
We're gonna get sued if
Yeah,
we keep going.
was that 60 seconds?
It was a little less than that.
All right, we'll be good.
Well,
We'll
we were off notes. We were
Very much so.
Very much.
Very much. I think that people didn't realize what we were doing.
no,
so.
yeah, they were like.
I didn't know. Like, did you guys just take that audio and splice it in there? Oh my god!
It's so good.
The
It
production
sounds so
value
clear.
on this show.
I think
just
that would
boosted.
Imagine if you went to go see that movie and that's exactly what you heard as the opening.
Oh my no.
fuck is
Well, this is that. With that in mind, what if just Tom Cruise? He was like, we don't need a composer for this one, and he
I
just
got
does all
this.
this. Just
He just
he
goes
hums
up
the
on
whole thing
stage.
the whole time.
It's him and a kazoo.
or even when
But he does that at every screening.
Yeah.
He just, I'm so tired.
like
the organ.
Like in the movie, in each action sequence, he's humming it as he's doing the stunts.
And then he has to like. There's the next screening like 5 minutes later, and he's running across the aisle, theater. Like every single shot of every one of those movies has a shot of him running from the side, and that's what he looks like.
Oh man! If you want to see Tom Cruise running, watch this new one. He does a lot of
It
it.
does a lot of it.
I'd say it
So
happens
you
about
guys-
three times.
He's got a lot of running going.
But hey,
on.
that's his stick.
That's his thing.
That's his
He
thing.
actually got trained to run like that because I forget which one, when he first ran, he looked weird and he thought he looked weird, so he went to go professional run so he could look better while running.
I will say-
it sells.
Yeah, it looks
it
good.
works.
I took my
Works.
mom to see it, and she's like, he really runs great. I'm like, he should, at this point.
Why is he not on our Olympic team? He should be.
Seriously.
It's like he would have had so many awards.
I know.
So you guys already saw it.
Yes.
I have my tickets for Friday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about spoilers. By the way, there will be spoilers for this film.
Yep.
Go ahead. Tell me what I am in store for.
Oh, boy. Okay. Tom Cruise, the man, the myth, the legend, takes on what every SAG and WGA person is scared of right now. AI.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, when they first mentioned, I was like AI. I was like, oh man!
Right off the bat,
it was kind of like really,
yeah.
And then I
was like, oh, it's the movie Stealth.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense, but like I think it. I was like, each mission got crazier as it went along. It was only about a matter of time before God. AI comes in.
Yeah, I know, but it was such a letdown for me. I was like, really AI?
I mean,
I like a face to a bad guy. And we do get like a goon that's really good.
So you guys are telling me, okay, so the AI, it's not like Brainiac, right? It doesn't have a body and is fighting him, right?
No, it is called.
But it's able to hire people to do its bidding.
It's able to hire people, send emails to people. It's able to manipulate governments and social media, and basically get people to do what it wants.
Yeah.
Okay.
And destroy submarines.
No, I mean, well, no.
What is the point of why is this thing doing? What's its overall objective? Do we know?
Well, at first, it's mainly to protect itself because at some point you learn that it's afraid of Tom Cruise being on the mission because there's a chance that Tom Cruise can succeed. So
he's the only one.
He's the only one who can stop it.
Who wants to destroy the AI?
Everyone wants to use it or
control it.
Control.
That's the whole thing.
But Tom
thinks he's like
Ethan
this is
Chase,
too powerful to be in someone's hands.
Realizes
he's so
it's
righteous that he's the one that's like, no one should have this power.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he sets off on his own to destroy it?
So within 5 minutes, I love this. In the first 5 minutes of the movie, they basically someone says like, that Ethan Hunt's always going rogue. Like they're never staying on mission because he's on mission for about 5 minutes in the movie.
Just like every other movie.
He gets the mission where it's like, okay, you have to go get the MacGuffin, which is this key, which no one knows what it goes to, but you gotta get the key. Don't ask about it and bring it back. And he gets the key and then immediately goes like, all right, now I gotta go rogue.
Well, no, I mean he gets that and he actually comes back. But then he's like, all right, it's just like, you wanted me listening? This is me listening. And then he's like, all right, but I'm doing this my way now. And then Kittredge is just telling him, if you do this, if you go rogue, everyone's going to be after you and kind of giving him a warning. Which I think it was better than it was better it happening
he's just never on a regular mission, though. Well, always going rogue.
Obviously, there's so many corrupt figures in all the different parts of the government, and also,
that's the thing. You can't trust anyone in this movie because everyone's out to
everyone's out for their own interests,
right?
And but you have that core like Benji, Simon Pegg, and Ving Rhames.
Yep.
There's boys, man. They're the ride or die, man.
Yep.
Okay, so did we? I'm sorry if you answered this and I didn't hear it. What's the mission of the entity? What's it trying to do? I
mean, as I can tell, it's been mainly just trying to acquire the key.
Yeah.
So I mean that's pretty much it.
What does the key do?
I think it opens up the drive where the submarine is.
Yeah,
where it's located.
The main heart of this algorithm, like the source code, is stored on a submarine in this like nuclear bunker kind of thing within the sub.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the only thing that can destroy this algorithm.
This is an American sub.
No, it's a
Russian
sub.
So the Russians created the entity.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
It was Cary Elwes, who was with the CIA. They invented this virus AI program to infect
the
Russian sub
because they've got like a stealth mode that they wanted to.
They wanted to damage and stuff. But the AI went a little too far because the AI also became sentient. Yeah.
Sentient. Yeah.
And it destroyed the ship. And so Cary Elwes I mean, it's
now we can't control it.
Yeah, he was hoping he would be able to still control it and use it.
And because
for more nefarious means.
Yeah, and now it's up in the cloud. Like he's like, it popped in at the FBI's website. It went over to this place. It went to that place. Yeah, because it could. Yeah, like and,
Skynet.
Yeah, it's Skynet. It's Skynet.
Right.
Oh, can we have Terminators in next?
Well,
one?
at first, I thought Cary-Elwes was going to be like it in human, like if it made a cyborg or something, and I was like, oh shit, are we going to get like robots against Tom Cruise? Which because
these movies are getting so out there, might as well.
No, I mean, as much as they're out there, they're grounded enough. Like compared to the Fast movies, they're so grounded.
How dare you?
They're grounded.
They're
so grounded.
I agree with that.
How dare you?
What do you mean? I agree with that.
Yeah, see?
I don't know. Yeah. The Fast movies, they just did Fast X. They went to Rome and did a very grounded chase scene in the streets of Rome.
Now talk about when they went to space in cars.
No. That's Fast 7.
Sorry.
No, I'm talking about the last one when they had chased a giant bomb.
Rome. Is that the one? Is that the one where they were able to swing across the gorge on a chain with a car attached to the car?
No, that was
that's 9.
That was 9. I think.
Sorry,
but no.
Well, they have a chase in Rome in this one, and I was kind of going, I think Fast did it better.
No.
The little Fiat chase, I'm like, oh, come on.
The Fiat
Vin
was great.
Diesel would have done it in a damn Dodge.
But, I mean, there was great humor in that chase.
Yeah, there was.
Like, the emotion in this movie was much stronger, and every character, you could feel what they're feeling.
Yeah, they had reason to be there.
Yeah, it wasn't just empty like
Haley Atwell
crazy.
is a great addition
to
the cast as kind of like she's a thief character who's there to make a buck.
Yeah, and she's
been
hired.
She's a little over her head.
Yeah, she was hired to steal the key, and it turns out she's in over her head, and she gets pulled into this chaos.
Yeah,
and then Tom Cruise is there.
So she was doing it for cryptocurrency, which right now you shouldn't be doing anything for cryptocurrency.
Well, hey,
like I can tell this movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like all the AI cryptocurrency stuff, I was like, this feels dated already.
Well, no, so she gets paid in crypto, and the next thing she broke.
The AI stuff didn't come out till like
I
half a year ago or so.
So
it just landed on the perfect moment for that, I guess. But I think that
she got paid in Dogecoin.
Sure. But no, I just think it sunk in more. Like there was more consequences that were going to happen if things went wrong. And Tom, every fucking scene he just sold on, like even like when he does the big motorcycle jump and he's there by the cliff.
Come on, they spoiled the hell out of that.
They did.
They did a whole featurette for 15 minutes showing him do that stunt.
Right.
And I was there going, I hope this isn't the only big stunt in the movie.
Yeah.
And it was?
It was.
Well, I mean,
there's other stuff. There's there's a
Can you explain to me what it is what's the reason that he has to do that?
He has to get on a train.
Yeah.
And that's how he does it?
Yeah.
Yes. The only way to get on the train.
Can you just buy a ticket?
No, I mean because
he's a wanted man.
There's enemy combatants on the train. They can't. He can't get on there stealthily.
So he has to parachute onto a moving plane.
He has to jump.
Well, no, that wasn't. He was going to jump on
wasn't
it
the plan
when it was. Yeah, the plan got altered because the AI already knew how to just.
So he parachutes onto a moving train.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean,
I'm gonna watch it on. I'm not. Okay. Yeah.
But that's the thing. I was like, okay, you've already spoiled that. In all the ads. It's in every ad.
No, it is. It is. And the fact is, what they should have done was tell them what the stunt is and maybe show it up to a point where he's riding up and then cut.
Yeah.
And not show it. And I think I agree with you on that. They shouldn't have spoiled it. But there was some other stuff in the movie that I didn't really know. And I was like, I was still thrilled by it because it was just
I get that.
exciting and it was like, oh my God, I can't. How are they going to get out of this? Because
I did have some issues with you're dealing with an AI that can infiltrate any computer system, and you've got Benji on a laptop in a self-driving car, and I'm just like, that seems to be the worst idea you could possibly do
if it knew Benji where Benji was in that car. I mean, but. How was that?
Apparently, the algorithm figured out everything. It knew the entire plot of the movie. From the jump, it knows exactly what Ethan's going to do.
True.
And to the point where they're at that party scene and Gabriel spoils the last half of the movie.
Yeah.
He literally spells it out of like, this is how it's going to happen because the algorithm told me so.
Yeah.
And they do it beat for beat. And I go, well, now you just spoiled the whole movie.
Well, I would hope that they would, like, the algorithm didn't know. Like, there's a factor the algorithm missed.
No,
like
I
his unpredictability or something like that.
Well, no, see.
That's what you'd hope, you'd expect.
Right.
No,
that doesn't happen.
I would say you're kind of
Wow,
wrong in that statement because he does say, okay, this is how it's going to happen. But there is a caveat that Ving Rhames talks to Tom about. It's like, if you do this, the AI wins.
Yeah.
And so there's...
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So there was an option of two ways it could go.
Yes.
So, and you don't know which way it was going to happen.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen the way, because he still had it at the end.
Yes. But then, it didn't matter because he had it all timed out to blow out the bridge.
True.
So I'm all like, and clearly it's set up for a cliffhanger. It's set up for part 2.
Yeah.
And, the IMF team has to... dust themselves off and kind of regroup and figure out how to beat this thing.
Yeah.
Which is clearly going to be, but it just.
Hopefully they don't build any submarine tubes to go that
Right?
deep into the ocean.
Oh,
Tom's
jeez.
like,
oh no.
all I need is a game controller, guys.
Oh, God.
It's like, Tom, no, don't.
Did they already film part 2 yet?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
I'm
would
sure
assume
they
they've
have.
started.
I'm sure they
like,
have.
yeah.
I'm sure they have filmed.
But
I'm hoping he grows his hair out a little more.
Oh, to get that Mission Impossible 2?
Yeah, I want the hair helmet from 2.
I mean,
the hair in this one was bad. His hair looked bad. It looked like old man hair.
I wouldn't say that. I would say. I mean, he looked older in this one.
No, he did.
Much,
He physically looks older, but they try to do like the Mission Impossible 1 hair, like the military cut.
Yeah,
which looked great on him when he was 25. But this is, he's 30 years
when his
older.
hair gets like tussled with that. It didn't look great.
Yeah,
but when it was neat, it would look fine.
There was some scenes where it just looked like a bad dye job too.
I mean, but I do hope that in the following part 2, that it end, because like there was people's like, oh, he's going to be in space for this one, and so if they do that, I want
Ludacris and Tyrese to be up there with him.
Oh no,
yes,
no. I want
the franchise.
I want it to be a 2001 Space Odyssey type of thing, and he's just floating to put the key in the whatever, and then
why do you want to do that, Ethan?
Yeah, it starts talking to him.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Because it does.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it does start talking to him at one point, which was actually kind of chilling.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
Because I thought Benji was going to die when.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, oh,
me
shit.
too. Yeah, but I was surprised that I thought Simon Pegg was going to eat it.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
So you guys recommend it?
No, yeah, I'm gonna probably see it again.
I'm a fan of the Mission Impossible movies. I don't think it's the best one. I'd still put Fallout over this one.
Yeah, I will agree on that. I do like Fallout a bit more.
I would like to watch it again as part 1 and 2 together, and maybe it's because it's kind of
a one part of the story.
Same with like Fast X. Like, I would like to see
although
it.
I will say this was less of a cliffhanger than Fast X was, because
yes, it's true.
The way it ended,
the mission is kind of complete.
It's complete.
Yeah.
So I would say, I mean, this is one to go see in the theaters.
Yes, definitely a big screen.
Did you see it in IMAX?
No, I did not.
Apparently, I didn't notice it, but the people I were with said it was not IMAX because it had the bars a bit.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I didn't even notice.
Nolan stole all the IMAX cameras
he's
for
like,
Oppenheimer. He's like,
I need you to prep these theaters.
All of them.
But the next time I'm gonna check it out, I'm gonna try it in Dolby.
It is playing in 4DX as well.
No, I'm not doing
that.
I'm not doing that.
No,
especially with that
rattle and shake, baby.
No,
yeah, do it, dude. Do it.
I'll vomit all over myself. And then there's like, this is all your fault, Watson.
I love the 4DX.
This is all your fault.
I'll just be laughing in the next seat like Cape Fear, just
with a cigar.
Yeah, just smoking it.
He's not allowed to smoke in here.
Just jumping around in my seat.
The ash just going everywhere.
Yeah.
I got my tickets for Oppenheimer. I can't wait.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
I can't wait. And I'm
Same
watching
here.
in IMAX and in the
Yeah.
seat that Nolan recommended.
What,
Are
the
you
third
doing-
row?
Yeah.
That's
Oh no, I mean no.
the little couple rows back.
Yeah, a couple rows back. Yeah.
Back from center, right?
Which is crazy. In regular movies, he's in the third row, which so I'm like, wow, that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
he claims it's the best seat. I don't know about that.
Well,
I'd agree with him in
I'm in the center,
Dolby.
but not
In
the
Dolby,
center, yeah.
I do because when there's so many people are back here, it's like I don't want to sit next to
Yeah.
some random stranger. So
Well, just you hate people.
I mean, I don't hate
true.
people. They
That's
just
true.
annoy me with their sounds and stuff and the they're just on
clicking and the
they're
texting.
clicking in their phones
And
and the
the
whispering
breathing.
and the breathing. They don't do it like how I do it. It's
Right.
just copy me, guys. Copy what I do. But I did get the third row, and then I just put the seat all the way back because it's recliner, and then get the nice.
I do
Dolby.
want to find
and you're
the.
engulfed.
I know it's playing 70 millimeter at very select places.
Oh, okay.
The IMAX 70 millimeter.
City Walk
City
for
Walk?
Oppenheimer.
So, well, he
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
he released a list of the only theaters that could handle it, quote
Yeah,
unquote,
yeah.
and IMAX at the City Walk is one of them.
I'm
The
gonna
one
go-
I'm watching it is not one of the recommended ones. Whatever.
They're like, it's shit.
Yeah.
Don't even dare see
Yeah.
it there.
Yeah, and I'm at Burbank, the IMAX at Burbank, which some people said that's not a real IMAX, but okay.
It's just an added little
Yeah.
bit of screen. Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope one.
I
day,
want to see Barbie on 70 millimeter.
I hope one day that Christopher Nolan will do it, and because Jim Carrey said he'd be on board, but he would do it Ace Ventura 3 if Christopher Nolan was the director.
Oh, I'd love
because
to see that.
Christopher Nolan's a fan of the Ace Ventura films.
Yeah.
So I'd be
I
like,
would love
oh
to
my
see
god,
that.
if they partnered up to do that, I would
I'd watch that.
IMAX Ace Ventura.
I'd watch that.
Chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you. Hey, there.
I want to see him come out of a rhino in 70 millimeter.
Oh,
Yes.
I want
Yeah.
to feel the grain.
How come there are no anniversary showings of Ace Ventura or Ace Ventura 2 at the movie theater?
I don't know. You gotta go protest.
Or maybe I'll tell Quentin Tarantino, hey, at your
The Beverly?
the Beverly. It's
Yeah.
like, why haven't we seen
It's
Ace
been
Ventura?
yeah.
Has it been there? I don't even know.
Oh
Maybe
no,
we
but
missed
it's
it.
been 30 years though since
Yeah.
Ace
Let's get
Ventura
it-
came out in
let's do
'93.
Let's get an anniversary showing.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of problems with that movie.
Well,
That-
the first one.
Yeah,
The first one. But
yeah.
hey, it was
the reason you couldn't show it nowadays.
I mean, but the second one you could do fine.
probably
Was it '93 or '94?
94, I believe.
Because
Because Dumb and Dumber was 90.
that was '94 as well.
94.
Oh, yeah, they
He
came
had-
out the same
94.
year.
He
I
had
forgot, yeah.
that, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber all in the
All the
same year.
Yep, I
It's
remember
a
that.
crazy year.
Yeah,
And then
because
the
I
next
remember I went
year
to go
was-
see all three of them in theaters.
Yeah, and then next year was Batman Forever.
I was a little kid, so I. you
Okay,
know,
well, and
I
I snuck into them. That's what you should have
But
done.
I was in elementary school.
And so was I.
I didn't know
I
what.
snuck into them.
I didn't know about
Chad
the
was
movie
in someone's
theaters.
balls. He couldn't.
Yeah,
even see
I
it.
bought a fucking ticket for the Little Penguin or whatever it was called. And
I was in
gonna
like
see-
first grade.
the little penguin.
Yeah, something like the Penguin, the Ruby and the Penguin or something like that.
Oh.
Ruby in the Pink.
Some shit. And I
I
went to go
remember
see
going.
it.
I didn't have money. I was a little kid.
I just
Okay.
remember sneaking
stole
to
it.
see Speed.
And look where you are now.
Look right now.
with
Hosting a podcast, you too.
It was under his arm with his
Oh, it was N64.
N64. And he's
As I'm
sneaking into
cycling my
movie
way through.
theaters.
Get out of my way.
Oh, God.
man. And then we had some Emmy nominations.
Oh, the
open
Emmy
up too.
nominations
Yeah.
came out this day today. Yeah, today.
right.
And there's the usual dreck,
The
usual dramas and critically acclaimed blah blah blah. But for
One of my favorites
what's that?
has been nominated.
What was that?
Andor.
What you
What?
say? A
Yes.
genre show?
I said it before, and I'll say it again every single opportunity I get. It is not only one of the best, probably the best Lucasfilm TV show ever made. It's probably it's the best Lucasfilm TV show out there, but it's also one of the best TV shows ever made. Period.
Yeah.
It's so good. I have watched that
Yet,
funeral.
yet it's only Pepto-Bismol to you?
Yeah, it's only Pepto because that's how bad the indigestion
The rest
was.
is-
okay.
From, yeah,
A cherry on a pile of shit is still a pile of
it's still,
shit.
still a pile of shit. It's still cherry on a pile of shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's just
Yeah.
the hint of sweet.
But it looks pretty. It looks pretty.
Yum, yum,
Yeah.
yum, yum, yum.
Is that ice cream?
Yes, and I've watched that funeral scene march so many times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll play the music while I'm working out or just walking my dog. It's just so moving. It's so good. Oh god.
Does it bring a tear?
It does bring a tear.
Yeah.
Your
It does bring a tear.
dog is looking at you worried.
Yeah,
She's like,
"Whoa."
why? Why are you
happened?
crying?
It's just-
Pop, are we going to the vet? I
And
don't
then-
want to go.
And then when she says "fight the Empire," I'm like, "Oh yeah!" I'm just like screaming that.
well, you know what the
In my-
original line was supposed to be, right?
No.
That the original line that they recorded was "fuck the Empire,"
Ugh.
and they changed it because they were like,
Yeah, it's not as powerful anyway.
It's Disney,
It's not as powerful
Yeah.
too.
but it was
It's
going
just
to be
not as
Disney's
powerful.
first.
What if they
fuck.
went fight the power and the song came on?
Yes.
That would have been copyright infringement.
Well, no, they would have bought they could have bought the rights to play that song.
It still would have been very
Is that
awkward.
Run DMC? No.
No, it's
No.
I was
Public
going to
Enemy,
try and
right?
make a
I think
R2
it's
DMC
Public Enemy? I
joke.
think it is
yeah,
Public
Public
Enemy,
Enemy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That would have been copyright infringement. my
What?
friend.
I mean, if they were like, "Hey, Flavor Flav, you mind?"
Oh well. Okay.
And then they'd be like, "Yeah, man, get it."
oh god.
Give me a bunch of money. I got 25 kids.
Just let me turn this clock to what time it is.
That's your impression of.
That I mean,
It
it's-
was like he was right
that's
here.
right
Yeah,
there,
just like
man.
there, yeah.
You know.
But Andor's got a lot of competition.
Yeah.
Andrew's
What's the competition?
In the drama series, we've also got The Last of Us.
It's not as good as.
You don't think
Andor.
it's strong?
Not
No,
as good.
I think Andor is still
Not as good as strong.
You got a lot of good ones there, like Better Call Saul's in there, and it was the last season.
It's okay.
House of the Dragon,
pretty strong.
Succession. It was their last
Succession's
season.
very strong.
Yeah, I think Succession.
And
will
that's
get
probably
it.
gonna sweep it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
White Lotus as well, which was
White
a
Lotus
big.
is okay.
It was a big critic.
It's
hit.
good. It's not.
So
It's not
that's-
great.
It's a pretty stacked group.
It's gonna come down to House of Dragon, Succession, and Andor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think House of Dragons was that amazing to really pull it in.
I mean,
I wasn't into it that much.
I would say it's the weakest of those three, but it's
Yeah.
still pretty strong.
Mm.
It's definitely stronger than Better Call Saul. It's definitely stronger than. I mean, it's going to come down to Succession or what's the other one? Last of Us. It's going to come down to one of those two.
But yeah, HBO.
But
killed
most
it
likely
with-
it's going to be Succession's going to sweep
Yeah.
it because everybody loves it.
No, yeah.
And one of your favorite for limited series, Obi-Wan Kenobi got a nomination.
That's not one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
it was up there with.
That's not one of my favorites, but okay.
Yeah,
I don't think it's anybody's favorite.
Dharma is up there, which was a big hit. So that might-
Dharma?
yeah.
The MTV Dharma?
No,
that's
the Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dharma.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh.
I want to see
You said
a
Dharma.
combo show
Oh,
of
jeez.
Dharma just eating people.
I thought you said
Wait,
Dharma.
no, it's Darla,
Dharma, yeah.
not that's Darla.
Darla, yes.
Because Dharma is Dharma and Greg, or
Dharma and Greg.
Dharma, the Dharma Initiative from Lost.
That's
Wow.
right. There you
Yes.
go. Yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah, it's none of those.
It's
None of those.
Dahmer.
Dahmer.
You said Dharma.
I'm from.
right.
He's
Yeah.
from Boston.
Yeah, not from
Dharma.
Dharma.
Where's Dharma? Got to go to the car park. Dharma.
And Pedro Pascal got a nomination for Best Actor.
He deserves it. He
Yeah,
deserves
also
it.
Jeremy Strong for Succession, which
He deserves it.
yeah, and a few others, Bob Odenkirk, obviously, and
Yeah.
Brian Cox. Let's see, but awesomely, where is it? I just got. Oh, Bella Ramsey from The Last of Us got nominated for Best Actress.
Oh, there you go.
So, I mean, for someone her age, that's pretty impressive. And she's got.
Hey, Dakota Fanning did it.
I think
not that
I think
hard.
she's a great actress. I think she was somewhat miscast for that role, but
I thought she. Did.
I think she did a great job. I just think I don't think it was perfect.
For Best Comedy, Best Comedic Actor, I think there's a lot of shows I really dig. Bill Hader for Barry.
Yeah, he's good in that.
Jason Segel for Shrinking. I don't know if you guys are into Shrinking. I love that show.
No.
Martin Short for Only Murder in the Building.
Love
Yeah,
Martin
it's-
Short.
That's a good show.
Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. And Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. Which
Okay.
I dig The Bear.
Which
I haven't seen that. I've heard
I
good
think
things.
the Bear will get it again because
I've heard good things about it.
he really fucking nails it in that show. So
Yeah. But
makes me never want to work in the food industry.
Yeah, every show I see about the food industry does not make me want to work in the food
I was
industry.
like, oh, sounds
They
awful.
it all seems pretty terrible.
It's like I'd go home and just chew on a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. There was a movie that was recently released about one day in the life of a restaurant, like a high-end restaurant. I can't
Yeah.
remember what it's called. And it's It's just like, holy shit. That's what these people...
Respect to anyone who works in the food industry, because I'm too weak. I can't handle it.
Yeah, it seems like a boiling point.
Oh, and
that's wow.
That's why I always say please and thank you.
That's why I always treat my wait staff very well.
Oh yeah, tip
them a lot and please and thank you all the time.
Also, the category I'm really looking forward to is guest actor in a drama series. Nick Offerman and Kevion Montreal Woodard for Last of Us both got nominations for the third episode, which I think is. We've all gushed over that show. It's amazing. Yeah. So I'm excited to see them get the.
Also, the two kids from the fourth episode or fifth episode.
Yes,
they're nominated.
They're nominated too. But all in all, Last of Us got 24 nominations.
Jeez.
Yeah. Succession got 27. White Lotus 23 nominations. Ted Lasso 22. The Bear. 13, and Wednesday even got 12 nominations. So it's good.
Okay.
It's good for genre television right now.
Whatever, just know it always comes back to Max. No. Like a Thanos type of, you always come back to me.
Max. Yeah, I think Succession's probably going to sweep a lot of those.
Yeah, because, I mean, it was their last season.
It's a literal perfect show. There's very few perfect shows out there. It's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Last of Us has its trip-ups here and there, so it's not a perfect show.
They've still got more to go. So I think...
Well, for the first season, at least. Yeah. It trips up here and there, which Succession doesn't, so...
Right.
I mean, I got a show that will top it all if HBO wants to make it. It's Virtuosity. You know the movie Virtuosity, but it's a show it's a show version of that. And, he's chasing Sid 6.7 through that. But since he's got so many killers in his head, you can have so many different types of seasons going around. So I think, just call me or email me.
That was Russell Crowe.
I mean, it was Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, that's why he got the Wolverine audition out the back of that.
Really?
Yeah.
They saw him in that and were like, this guy would be a great Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh. And he was the one that was like, nah, mate, I'm going to... And he got Hugh Jackman in.
Oh.
Because he was going to... It was between...
He was going to Gladiator, right?
It was going to... Yeah, Gladiator or X-Men.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he made the right choice.
Those are iconic roles for both of them.
Yeah.
They fit perfectly.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Perfect casting. Those two were perfect casting.
Virtuosity was the first movie I saw Russell Crowe in, and I was like, this guy's cool.
Yeah,
and Quick and the Dead.
Denzel.
Yeah,
Quick and Dead. That's the first one I saw.
I saw that like after when it was on TV, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, is that Russell Crowe? I was like, oh shit.
I love how in Denzel Washington's got a robot arm, and no one even brings it up.
Never.
It's just at the end, it's robot arm.
No, he's talking to the female lead. I forget her name, but he was like, no, it's fake. It's a fake arm because she something happens to it where he's like, oh no, I'm just kidding with you. It's a fake arm or whatever like that. But they do touch on it. Okay, I've seen that movie multiple times. I got it on DVD. Okay, I got it on DVD. So don't you talk trash about my virtuosity.
What they should have done is that
you can say whatever you want about Indiana Jones, but you don't talk about virtuosity like that.
They should have tied it in.
Or Baby's Day Out. Yes.
He should have been the same character from Will Smith from I Am Legend. Or not I Am Legend. Which is the one? I Am Robot. Whatever the one. Robot.
They copied.
He's got the robot arm too.
I mean, they copied that from Virtuosity.
Yeah. He's got a robot arm?
Yeah, because he lost it from another robot. Something ripped it off or something.
Yeah, like the car crash. Yeah.
Or a car crash. Yeah.
I did not murder him.
Yeah.
But
what a movie that was.
It was okay.
Awesome. And then we got some Hellboy game trailer, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. So just quick, you can check it out online. There's some gameplay.
Teaser, yeah.
It's actual footage of gameplay, though.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Cool.
Of Web of the
Winner. We should have wrote it down.
Yeah.
That would have been smart.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But it's
Hellboy.
It's Hellboy, but it's copying the art style from the comic books.
Yeah,
it's which looks so good. Yeah, it's like the comics
cel-shaded kind of look, and then it's Lance Riddick is the voice of Hellboy. It's his last kind of post-mortem kind of.
Oh wait,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. When you said Lance, I thought you meant Henriksen for a moment. And I was like, did he? I was like, he died.
No.
I was like, oh no, Lance Reddick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, oh man, that's really cool.
I mean, I just think of like his voice as Hellboy would be so great. The gravitas he's going to bring. Yeah. And he was such a gamer nerd. So
right. I know.
You know,
played,
it's a shame.
Such a sad. Yeah, it's so sad.
But
yeah. So I mean, that looks really good. We'll definitely check that out. And then Chad, you were saying something about games prior to 2010.
It's Web of the Weird, but it's spelt funny.
Weird? No, I think it was like W-Y.
Holy shit! If we only had
Weird.
Winern.
If we only had a connected system of information,
like some tubes.
If we had an entity that could just let us know
the entity
that we could serve.
Yeah, I would serve the entity.
Yeah, weird.
If it would just tell me everything that would happen, I'm like, yeah, no. It's
pronounced weird.
Weird?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, you were right.
And then, but speaking of games, you were saying something about games prior to 2010.
Yeah, I came across like an article. Just was I briefly got to skim through it, and it was kind of referencing how a lot of games before 2010 are very hard to come across nowadays, and like that, you know, most of the games that you would see for NES or SNES or even like in that early 90s genre too, you're only going to probably come across them on like Nintendo Switch Online, but they only pick and choose. They don't give you everything that they're
and there's
huge libraries of like things that are just lost to time. Like you can't, and like I think the study that was saying only about 13% are you're able to come across or find, and maybe some of those are just listed as $600 online because someone's bogarting it or something like that, which I'm not against, but like if you're selling it, just sell it at a regular price. You don't
I saw a Nintendo 64. Speaking of Indiana Jones, there's a Nintendo 64 game that I saw. There's a toy store up the street from me, and it's in mint condition, still in the box, $400.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Indiana Jones Nintendo 64 game. Yeah.
All right, noted. That game belongs in a console, in a kid's console, or mine, or my console, or yours, or mine.
Well, it's for sale, $400. You could go get it right now.
No.
Okay.
Nah.
You all right?
No. I just like I'll just we'll
you can find an emulator somewhere.
I'm probably. Or no, I'll just pretend I'm a fentanyl user outside and like bring the property value down, and then he's like, oh man, I gotta just leave the store, but how am I can't sell all this stuff. It's like, I'll take it off your hands for you, man. And then he'll give me the game for free. And then that's just how that works.
But then you'll sell it for fentanyl.
I think
you got real method.
I think after all the time.
You just get stuck on fentanyl.
I was like, I die from fentanyl.
I think after all the time and effort and the time spent away from work, you probably lose more than $400.
I mean,
just trying to get
there's that
for free.
But just so that the accomplishment at the end, though, for the greater good.
I guess. Yeah. You know. I guess. John Williams also had his last concert recently, so hats off to him.
Yeah. Hopefully,
we're going to miss you, sir. Thank you for everything.
Well, hey, hopefully he's lying to himself and he's got one more in
that
I could go to, because I thought it was going to, it usually happens every Labor Day weekend. And he had it earlier, probably because he's up there in age, and and I heard he was kind of like, on stage, kind of just
not breakdancing like he normally does.
Yeah, he's not doing handstands, whatnot, and
no cartwheels for this 91-year-old.
Yeah. So I'm hoping maybe he can do one more. Hopefully,
I think so.
But because he said, I think Indiana,
if not, Chad's gonna dress up like a fentanyl addict and show up at the house.
Come on,
hey, man! One more show, man.
One more show, man.
One more hit. I'm gonna hit. Yeah, I'm gonna take another hit of fentanyl if you don't do a show.
Hey, I'll do it. And but
or you get him addicted to fentanyl.
Oh, jeez.
And then in order for him to play,
I couldn't do that to John. He's my boy. He's my boy, John.
It's hard to do the long con on someone that's like 91 years old.
It's like, oh man, I don't think this is gonna work. But I think he said Indiana Jones was his last one he was gonna compose, right?
Yeah, his last score.
And I was like, oh man, because in that movie, the music didn't really pop I don't know.
There's no theme that really felt like it was from that movie.
Yeah,
it felt like a lot of compilations of stuff.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you. It'd be like, you know what?
Like
I got Duel of the Fates. I know that's from Phantom Menace. Of course, you know.
I mean, maybe on the OST of the movie
RoboCop theme.
Oh yeah, I mean
Terminator theme.
I think probably on the OST you'll be able to hear because I know a lot of the times anything he makes music for or scores for, they'll kind of like the volume, change the volume of his stuff, and like how he's always talked about the Scherzo that he made for the motorcycle chase.
Yes.
So maybe on the album, you might hear the great stuff he made for it. Hopefully, I'm hoping. Yeah. There's some cool stuff on there. I haven't listened to it yet, so I do want to check it out.
And it's just much luck to him, and we love you, sir. And one last thing, we had the Wonka trailer that recently came out.
Yes.
What do you guys think of that?
It looks very family friendly.
I was surprised. I was surprised how much it's same guys that did Paddington.
Yeah.
And clearly they got Hugh Grant again.
Yeah.
Which was a fun.
Well, it's apparently a prequel to the actual story. So I was like, okay. I'm wondering why you feel this isn't.
We need it.
We need it, or
Exactly. Well, I mean, you could ask that for any of the remakes.
It's lately. Because they've got the IP. They've got the the
trope. And they have ideas, and they need something else.
And they can't do Charlie and the Chocolate Factory again because that would be the third time at that well. And
that's right.
I don't know why.
I forgot Johnny Depp did one.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot about
They've
that.
never done the Glass Elevator movie. The Wonka and the Glass Elevator is a great story that has never been adapted.
No.
I was a Roald Dahl. Yeah. I used to read a lot of Roald Dahl growing up, so it's like I can't believe that seems to be untouched. And maybe they're gonna try to do a trilogy of movies. They're trying to, do this one and they got a young enough star now with Shyamalan. Shyamalan. That they can maybe we can invest in him, and in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, do a Charlie and Chocolate Factory, then do the Wonka Vader, the Great Wonka Vader.
I'm curious though if it's going to be similar in theme to the original with Gene Wilder, because as light as it was, there were very dark tones.
Oh, very dark. That tunnel scene.
Oh, well,
that was terrifying.
So I was like, are we going to get Timothy Chalamet screaming at somebody on a boat, or I was like, maybe he could pull off. I think he could pull off. He's talented, but
he can be intense. I mean, we saw that Dune 2 trailer.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that both of those movies are a month apart from each other, it'll be
bizarre.
Interesting to see him from a leader to a chocolate maker,
Yeah, and it's a full musical.
Right.
Yeah,
which looks interesting.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. See how that goes.
But, I mean, if you gotta bring, if you're gonna make a prequel musical, you gotta be ready to bring those bangers out, because are you gonna beat the Golden Ticket song? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Are you gonna beat what's it called? Imaginary. I'm blanking on it.
I know
you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
When he brings them through the garden of all the chocolate and the chocolate. Nothing. Yeah.
Pure imagination.
Yeah. And the Oompa Loompa songs.
Pure imagination.
I was like, Hugh Grant, you better bring it on those Oompa Loompa songs, because
I did like his little bit of
he's like, once we start
dancing, that's it.
I was like, that's fun.
Yeah.
But then also, are they just that's no jobs for small people? I mean, they can't.
Yeah.
Well, little people, they screwed them over in Willow, and now they're
Yeah, I don't know how that works anymore. I don't know if they can use little people as actors anymore. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are anymore for that kind of thing. I guess it's whatever that community says. They're comfortable with.
I
understand.
I get it. But also, I think they're removing little people from the Time Traveler. What's it called?
Time Bandits.
Time Bandits, and I'm like, they're the main characters. They're the best part of the movie. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. Either way, we got a lot of good stuff coming out. And do you guys have anything else to put out there? We touched a lot of things. Go watch it.
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Barbie movie looks really good. Oppenheimer looks great. Yeah. Indiana Jones is fucking garbage. Don't see that. Anything else?
We got to get Chad off fentanyl.
Yeah.
We got to try and get him in rehab.
Actually, this is an intervention. This podcast.
Oh,
is
what?
yeah.
What are you guys talking about, man? I'm just like,
As he scratches
what?
himself.
What's going on?
You brought up your fentanyl scam way too many times for
No,
not
man,
being
it
real.
was a joke, son. Man, like, there's nothing serious about that.
One more in, man.
But by the way, do you got any fentanyl?
I mean, yeah, I do if you got money.
Yeah,
Or
it's
an Indian.
intervention.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no. Oh, talk to me outside.
I mean, I got some action figures you might want.
Oh, fuck, man. I know. San Diego and the con exclusives have been.
I got them
coming
all.
in.
Don't you worry.
Oh, man.
Oh, by
I
the
got
way,
my connection.
That's my crack.
is that this weekend or
No,
next
it's
weekend?
next week.
Next week, yeah.
Well,
Which
whatever.
I
you
doubt
know.
there's going to be like any. In
Are you
this.
going?
I
to
don't-
Comic-Con?
No,
No, I'm not
no.
going. I've never got a chance to go. I don't have taste, but I don't care because at the end of this month I'm going to Midsummer Scream.
Yeah,
the
I'll
Halloween
be
convention.
there
Yeah, you'll be
too.
there too. It's gonna be dope. Chad, you can go with me on Sunday if you like.
Come on, buddy.
When is it?
The end of this month.
The end of this month?
Yeah. He
Maybe.
doesn't want to go because it's
Maybe.
scary, dude.
I'm not scared of the midnight.
That's
Say
what
not
it is.
scared.
That's what it
It's just a bunch of people. You know, they like their horror
We're gonna go
stuff.
represent. LA Ghostbusters are gonna be there.
Yeah, they're gonna be
so-
there. Yeah.
That's true.
You
Go with
know?
me on Sunday, bro.
Maybe we'll see.
All right, we're gonna twist his arm and give him some fentanyl to show up.
All right, now you're talking about like
There you go. The demons are everywhere. We're just in the parking lot, dude. It's just Long Beach.
Plenty of fentanyl down there.
Oh yeah.
yeah, jeez. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Enter the Nerdom. And please follow us.
Exit the fentanyl.
I mean, yeah. Enter the. Well, no, I was saying, make sure to like and subscribe and all the jazz. Leave us comments.
Rate, review.
Yeah.
Follow us
If
on
you
the
disagree with me
Instagrams.
on Indiana Jones, you're wrong.
Yeah, argue with Stan on.
Yeah, please argue with me. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, and hey, are we leaving Twitter and joining Thread?
We can.
Oh, I mean, we
No,
can, I guess.
Yeah,
or-
I mean, I joined it just to hold on, just to like bookmark
Bogart
my
your
name.
Your name?
Yeah, just bookmark my name. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Alright.
that's it. But
All
yeah, we
right.
can move over there. I guess we'll
Yeah,
be on.
I mean,
Like,
Thread.
I don't know.
We'll be on Thread with the other 15 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you can find us there. Or
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, once we link it up,
Yeah.
we'll be on the threads.
I know.
On Threads.
So
or Friendster or MySpace, one of those things.
One of those. We'll figure it out.
We'll bring Friendster back.
Yeah, except TikTok, because no, I don't think so.
no, we won't be on TikTok.
Not on my phone. You can do it on yours.
Oh yeah, I can make
Be
the
doing
account.
some dabs.
Yeah.
Or remixing our
We're gonna
sound
floss,
bites.
guys. We're gonna floss.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, that's been Enter the Nerdom. Exit the time portal made by Archimedes. Stan's favorite movie plot device.
Eureka.
What a piece of shit that movie was.